Chapter 281. Can I go with you, Master? You have arrived at the 99th floor of the Black Tower. Right after breakfast, Sejun and the animals arrived at the 99th floor of the tower through the waypoint on the 79th floor. Toryang. Master. Sejun called Toryang and moved to the farm. As they arrived at the farm on the 99th floor. Kyung Kyung. It's home, Mom. Kyungi is back. Dada Dada. Kyungi hurriedly ran to find Pink Fur. And then, ha ha ha, this tastes great. That's why I said Sejun Samyangju is the best. Agreed, definitely agreed. Hello there. Sejun went to greet the dragons who were gathered around the fountain, having a drinking party. Yeah, come on over. Wanna have a drink, Sejun? Cough, this is for the Samyangju I received last time. Ramter, who received 5 bottles of Samyangju for free last time, handed Sejun 100,000 tower coins. He couldn't accept it for free due to the pride of a dragon. That's too much. Don't disregard my sincerity. Then this is my sincerity. Sejun took out 2 sets of 11 different flavored makgeolli from the void storage and handed them to Ramter. This is. Ramter couldn't refuse because of what he just said. Then I have no choice. Swoosh. He reluctantly took the makgeolli, pretending to dislike it. What brings you here? Kaiser asked Sejun, who seemed to have something to say but was only looking around hesitantly. I have something to ask the 3 of you. What is it? I want to receive dragon blood in exchange for giving you black beans or samyangju. Dragon blood. Do well. Kaiser raised his voice and his energy at Sejun's words. Why would you need that? A human asking for. Kellyan and Ramter also shouted angrily. Sejun felt intimidated by the dragon's heated reactions. Chairman Park is under my protection, meow. Fortunately, Theo was busily absorbing the dragon's energy with energy drain. Right, blood has to be drawn by making a wound. He thought it would be easy to ask since they casually gave claws, scales, and teeth before, but asking for dragon blood seemed to have crossed the line. I'm sorry. Sejun apologized first, thinking he had asked for too much. Even though he thought he had gotten quite close to the dragons, their reaction made Sejun feel a bit, quite disappointed. Then, no, why should Sejun apologize? You, who made our Sejun apologize. Kaiser angrily grabbed Kellyan by the scruff. It wasn't me. Then is it you? It's not me either. Kaiser's fierce gaze shifted from Kellyan to Ramter, and Ramter quickly shook his head in denial, fearing he might be grabbed next. Actually, Kellyan and Ramter were also quite surprised by Sejun's apology. Why apologize all of a sudden? Their anger wasn't because Sejun crossed a line by asking for dragon blood. It was because weak Sejun asked for it. What's the difference? Dragon blood contains concentrated dragon power, and a weak and insignificant being could perish just by touching it. In other words, touching dragon blood could kill Sejun. Sejun, dragon blood is too dangerous for you. You're too weak, touching our blood could kill you. Play with something else. Weak Sejun dares to ask for what? That's why the dragons were angry. Sejun, who sells them delicious alcohol and black beans, needed to fight the apostle of destruction, was too precious to be put in danger. Why do you need dragon blood? As the anger subsided, Kaiser asked in a soothing tone. I'm undergoing the trials of the 10th tower, and I was told to collect 1 L of dragon blood from 9 dragon races. What, the 10th tower? The dragons were greatly surprised by Sejun's answer and looked at each other. They hadn't found any clues about the 10th tower. It was unexpected that Sejun was undergoing the trials of the 10th tower. Did I do something wrong? Feeling the atmosphere was not normal, Sejun nervously watched the dragons' reactions. Then, tab. Pew hut, Chairman Park, don't be scared, meow. I Vice Chairman Theo am your right hand, meow. Theo tapped Sejun's leg with his front paws, comforting him. I'm not scared. Sejun, feeling hit where it hurts by Theo's words, retorted. No, meow. I felt Chairman Park's legs trembling because he was scared, meow. No, I was shaking them on purpose. Pew Hugh Hut, Chairman Park, you're lying, meow. I should tell Kyungi later, meow. Huh, anyway, our Kyungi trusts Dad more. No, meow, Kyungi trusts his big brother, me. The topic of conversation shifted from whether Sejun was scared to who Kyungi trusts more. Thanks to this, Sejun's tension completely disappeared. If the dragons say anything, I'll ask Aileen to chase them away. Just as Sejun was firming up his resolve. Ha 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 ha, that's our Sejun, don't worry. I'll squeeze out the blood of the 9 dragon races for you. Kaiser loudly declared his cooperation, having finished discussing with Kellyan and Ramter. Judging by his attitude, he seemed ready to forcibly obtain dragon blood if the dragons refused. Sejun, do you only need to collect the dragon blood? Yes. Understood. There was an easy way to collect only the dragon blood. It could be stored in a container that doesn't allow the dragon's energy to leak. Well, for that, they would need to use very durable materials, but dragon bodies are tough. Scales, horns, claws, teeth, and skin could be used as materials to create a container that wouldn't let the dragon blood's energy leak. Then please. After asking the dragons for their blood, Sejun stopped by the brewery. He had something for the monkeys. Ucky. Yes, guys, you're doing well, right? Sejun received a greeting from the monkeys and said, use this for making alcohol. He handed the monkeys an unending staff. The staff's length could be adjusted at will, making it easier to stir to the bottom of the jars and lighter, thus more convenient than the great sword of amplification for brewing alcohol. Ucky. The monkeys were delighted with Sejun's gift. Then keep up the good work. Sejun left the brewery and headed to Flamey, who was in the cave, intending to use power, abundance. Sejun, who had passed out from using his power on Pottery and forgot about Flamey, planned to make Flamey grow significantly today. Flamey, wait, I'll make you grow quickly. Sejun hurried towards the cave. Flamey, have you been well? Yes, master, welcome home. As Sejun went down to the cave and greeted, Flamey welcomed him by shaking its 5 leaves. It must be because it didn't eat well when it was younger. Seeing the still small Flamey made Sejun feel sorry. Every time he saw the small Flamey, Sejun felt guilty for not taking better care of it. Of course, it was cute because it was small, but it couldn't stay small forever. Abundance. Thus, Sejun used his power on Flamey. So far, power, abundance, had the effect of doubling the next harvest when used on a tree. However, this time, by using the power on the ground for the germination of the birds bearing tree, Sejun realized he could use his power differently. And now, Sejun used his power hopping Flamey would grow twice in size. Naturally, thinking the size of Flamey was all he was seeing, Sejun didn't even take out the life orb. Just as Sejun was about to start drawing life force. The apple tree is affected by power, abundance. The message suddenly stopped, as if buffering. Pottery, why haven't you been eating much lately, huh? What, I've been eating diligently. Startled by Flamey's words, Pottery hastily absorbed the nutritional supplements it had been nibbling on. That's better, you should eat like that from the start. Here, eat more. That's how you'll become the world tree faster. Flamey handed over 3 pieces of nutritional supplements after Pottery ate 1. Thank you. Pottery expressed gratitude to Flamey with a voice that seemed like it was about to cry. It definitely wasn't from being moved. Sigh, I want to give up on becoming the world tree. Had it known it needed to eat this much nutritional supplements to become a candidate for the world tree, it wouldn't have chosen this path. Then, Flamienim, what's wrong? It's an emergency. With Flamey's urgent voice, its gaze, which had been watching over Pottery, disappeared. Master is in danger. As Sejun used his power suddenly without any preparation. Snap! Flamey broke off its branch with 5 leaves attached in a rush. It was an instinctive action, not one thought out to save Sejun. This reduced the range of the power and thus Sejun's life force consumption. The apple tree's leaves are affected by power, abundance. The apple tree's leaves grow twice in size. Flamey. As Flamey's branch broke and fell to the ground while the leaves were lengthening, Sejun rushed to catch Flamey. Then, click. Flamey landed like a superhero, using its 4 leaves as limbs. Sejun felt something was off from Flamey's action. However, Master, not yet understanding the situation, Flamey moved its leaves to stand up. It wanted to die as close to Sejun as possible. Plab plab plab. Thus Flamey, who had never walked in its life, awkwardly started walking towards Sejun using 2 of its bottom leaves like legs. Sejun quietly observed Flamey. The superhero landing was odd too. Normally, trees don't walk just because they're broken. Moreover, there was a sense of liveliness rather than fragility emanating from Flamey's body. And he was sure. Our Flamey can walk, hang in there, Flamey. While Sejun was encouraging Flamey's first steps, Flamey too felt something was off. Plab plab plab. It was moving strangely, and although its body was separated, it could still feel sensations from its other roots. That pottery messing around again. I need to scold it. Veronica broke another branch. Sigh, she really lacks farming talents. If only she had 100 of our master's farming skills, she'd be easier to teach. With such thoughts, Flamey walked towards Sejun, determined to die by his side. Thump thump thump. With each step growing stronger, Flamey became more vigorous. And before long, Flamey got used to walking and then, Master, I can run. Flamey started running around Sejun. Flamey, are you okay? Yes. Flamey realized it wouldn't die even if it was separated. Thinking about it, Flamey was a being that surpassed even the world tree. It already had the ability to separate flowers or branches, similar to the corrupted Ents. It just didn't know it had this ability because no one taught it. Hey, Master, can I go with you? Of course, let's go together. Pew hut, I Vice Chairman Theo will specially permit it, meow. Theo added his remark, seeking credit for Sejun's answer. Thank you. Flamey bowed to Sejun and Theo, expressing its gratitude. Let's go. As Sejun extended his palm towards Flamey. Yes. Boing. Flamey used its leaves like springs and jumped onto Sejun's palm. Day 361 of being stranded, Flamey became able to travel with Sejun. Chapter 282, My right knee is yours. Phew, I need to digest this quickly. While Flamey's surveillance was gone, Pottery began to expel the nutrients absorbed under Flamey's coercion. Although the nutrients were used to produce grapes, there was still a lot left over, so the remaining nutrients were all spread into the surrounding soil. Phew, now I feel like I can finally live. As Pottery relieved itself by expelling the overeaten nutrients. Really, you think you deserve to live after throwing away everything I took care of for you? Pottery was startled by the sudden cold voice of Flamey. Flamey's gaze had returned and was glaring at Pottery. The gaze was very cold. Fwoosh. Conversely, Flamey's roots wrapped in fire became hotter and hotter. Flamunum. As Pottery felt the heat as if it was going to burn to death, it hurriedly begged for Flamey's forgiveness. What are you doing? Draw back in the nutrients you expelled, quickly. Yes. Thus, Pottery absorbed back the nutrients it had spread around to avoid burning to death under Flamey's watch. Then, wow, Master, it's my first time going outside. Really? It's your first time here. Is there anywhere you'd like to go? No, I like being by Master's side the most. Pottery noticed a small being chattering on Sejun's shoulder and Sejun. It was Flamey with 5 green leaves moving like its head and limbs. Flamunum. There was no mistaking it since the energy felt the same. Flamey Nim, you're full of pretense. It's despicable. As Pottery spoke, while looking at the roots of Flamey in front of it. What? You know what happens if you tell the master. You die, you're going to die. Flamey raised its voice in embarrassment, threatening pottery. In front of the kitchen. Thump, thump, thump. Meow, I'm bored, meow. Theo lay in front of the door, waiting for Sejun, listening to the sound of Sejun kneading rice noodle dough. He was banned from approaching during kneading because of his fur. I can't stand this, meow. It was too unfair for Theo to be kept off Sejun's knee because of his fur. Lick, lick, lick. So Theo diligently licked his fur, swallowing it all. And then, Pew hut, Chairman Park, I won't shed fur anymore, meow. Theo called out to Sejun and scampered into the kitchen. Are you sure? Pew hut, yes, meow. Let me see. Swoosh. Sejun ran his fingers through Theo's body, grabbing a handful of fur. There would be no reason to ban Theo if his fur was easy to manage. Swoosh, swoosh. A clump of fur quickly formed after a few strokes. That's not true. Sejun showed the clump of fur he had caught to Theo. Meow, I definitely ate all my fur, meow. That's strange, meow, should I eat more, meow? Theo, with his tail and ears drooping, walked out dejectedly. Hey, why would you eat fur? Come here. Chug. Sejun's heart softened at Theo's behavior, lifting his right leg and saying, Vice Chairman Theo, my right knee is yours. Pew hut. Thump. With Sejun's permission, Theo hung onto Sejun's leg with a beaming smile. But you have to stay still without shedding fur, got it? Pew hut, understood, meow. As Theo joyously claimed Sejun's knee. Pio. Theonim, I have returned from scouting. Flap, flap. Piat, who had been scouting the farm, entered through the kitchen window. Chug. Pio. There was nothing unusual in the surroundings. Piat, saluting Theo with its wings, reported on the scouting. Pew hut, good job, meow. Pew hut. As the future right front paw of Theonim, I always scout the surroundings for Theo Nim's safety. Piat was intoxicated with pride from Theo's praise. Then, hey, the sun feels good. Pio. Piat saw a strange creature sitting on Sejun's right shoulder, basking in the sun. How dare, that's my spot. You are done now. Even though he had been failing at making subordinates lately, he thought he could manage with a guy like that. Pew hut. I Yatra, the future right front paw of Theonim, will grant you the honor of becoming my first subordinate. Flap, flap. Excited at the thought of making a subordinate, Piat climbed onto Sejun's shoulder. Tab, tab. Pio. Do you know whose spot this is? It's the spot of me, Yatra, the future right front paw of Theonim. Move aside quickly, won't you? Piat, trying to sound as intimidating as possible, hit Flamey's shoulder with its wings. Pew hut. I'm so scary. What if this guy gets too scared and faints? While Piat was intoxicated with its own frightening appearance. Slap. A leaf slap flew towards Piat's face. Humph, humph, humph. Thump, thump, thump. Currently, Sejun was immersed in kneading dough and concentrated. Flamey was docile only when Sejun was watching. When not, it was very scary. Pio. Piat, who suddenly received a slap, had tears circling its eyes. Pio. When Piat, feeling wronged, was about to complain about being hit. Chug. Flamey put up a leaf like a finger and covered Piat's mouth. Piang, why did you hit me? So Piat asked with its eyes, looking at Flamey. It seemed like making a sound would result in an even harsher beating. Because you're Theoraboni's subordinate, I only hit you once, so be careful from now on. TL. Oraboni equals formal way of saying Opa Aka brother. It was a quiet and gentle voice, but... Shudder, shudder. Piat's legs, already completely intimidated by Flamey, were shaking severely. Getting the first hit in a fight is important. Piat learned something new today. Black Tower Administrator Area. This is hard. Aileen, exhausted from engraving magic into the shard of Kaira's heart with all her might. Kahiti, but it's almost done. Aileen smiled proudly, looking at the densely engraved magic circles on the shard of Kaira's heart. It seemed like she could give Sejun the gift on the planned date, with a few more days of work. Yum yum. Kihihi, Sejun's cherry tomatoes are delicious. As Aileen was eating the elixir, cherry tomatoes given by Sejun for magic recovery and checking the crystal orb's alarm, one of the Black Tower's growth conditions has been exceeded. A golden message caught her eye. Exceeded. When Aileen pressed the message, Black Tower growth conditions. Tower Farmer A achieved. Create more than 10 new varieties, exceeded 1510. Cultivate more than 330 million square meter of farmland, unachieved. Grow a world tree. Acquire more than 10,000 world's energy pieces, unachieved. Own more than 5 relics, unachieved. Achieve 3 great achievements, unachieved. Increase the number of Black Tower entrances to 120, unachieved. The Black Tower growth conditions appeared. When did we get 15 new varieties? Aileen said, checking the conditions. But is there any benefit to exceeding? As Aileen hovered her hand over the words exceeded. If you exceed 2 of the tower growth conditions, 1 additional condition will be considered as achieved. A new message appeared. Kihihi, good job, Sejun. I need to work harder too. Whoosh. Aileen stuffed her mouth full of elixir, cherry tomatoes, and began to engrave magic on the shard of Kaira's heart again. Han Taejun and Kim Dong-sik, surrounded by the blue-backed penguin tribe, were trapped in a prison on the 44th floor of the tower. What day is it today? It's May 6th. When Han Taejun asked Kim Dong-sik for the date, Kim Dong-sik checked his hunter phone and answered. Initially, they fought the penguins to avoid being captured, but the armor worn by the penguins was so strong that not even Han Taejun's magic missiles could penetrate. Dong-sik, throw away the weapon. Yes. Since the penguins didn't seem to have any intention of killing them, they surrendered without resistance. We're running out of time. We need to hurry and deliver the kimchi to Sejun. Kim Dong-sik said in a regretful voice. They had planned an event to deliver kimchi and other food items to Sejun on May 11th, a year since Sejun's disappearance. And today, under the supervision of Sejun's mother, Kim Mi-ran, the Awakeners Association staff were scheduled to prepare kimchi and record recipes. Furthermore, 1,000 members of the Earth Defense Force had entered Korea to transport the food made by Kim Mi-ran to the tower. Originally, they would have had enough time in their schedule if they had returned before defeating the boss on the 43rd floor. But this situation arose because Han Taejun insisted on just defeating the boss and leaving. Consequently, the 2 highest commanders of the kimchi transport operation were unable to lead. Timing is crucial for kimchi. By the time it was delivered to Sejun, the kimchi might have completely spoiled. Cough, I only intended to defeat the boss and leave. Who knew it would turn out like this? Still, the kids will deliver it to Sejun on our behalf. Han Taejun, feeling sorry, spoke quietly, a bit unusual from his usual self, where he might have yelled or thrown a punch at Kim Dong-sik's words. Then, do you guys know Sejun Peng? One of the penguins guarding the jail asked them. Dough is done. Sejun stored the completed 1,000 kg of dough in the void storage. Since the state is maintained in the void storage, noodles can be made with a noodle machine whenever needed. Puhut finally done meow, Unianya. At Sejun's announcement of completion, Theo yawned and stretched, having been asleep. Pio. Piat, who had been dozing off, leaning its head on Theo's leg on Sejun's instep, also hurriedly stretched its wings following Theo. Having lost its spot on Sejun's right shoulder to Flamey, Piat settled on Sejun's right instep, allowing it to stay even closer to Theo. Time for a coffee break. For the brief coffee time. Drrrrk. Sejun grounded the beans with the millstone. Tab tab. And placed the coffee grounds into a black glossy dripper. Korarak. And began pouring hot water, making circles. The dripper, made from dragon scales by Aileen, had a warmth-retaining magic spell, maintaining the water temperature hot. Thanks to this, coffee extraction was faster, allowing for a rich brew. Slurp. 'Cause it's strong. As Sejun enjoyed his freshly brewed coffee, sitting at the table for coffee break. Pew hut nice meow. Theo from Sejun's lap. Hey, it's warm. Flamey from Sejun's shoulder. Peely. He. Piat, sitting on Sejun's instep, basked in the warm sun along with Sejun. Then, Kyung. Dad Kyungi brought herbs. Dada. Kyungi, having met Pinkfur and visited the herb garden, ran towards Sejun with herbs and jump, leaped into Sejun's arms. Kyung. Here are the herbs. Kyungi, nestled in Sejun's arms, began to take out herbs from the snack pouch. 10 blue kudzu roots with sweet taste, 1 white kudzu root with bitter taste, and 1 green kudzu root with sour taste. Hey, hello, Kyungi. Flap. Flamey waved its leaves in greeting to Kyungi, who had handed over the herbs to Sejun. Kyung. Is it Flamyanuna? Kyungi asked, sensing the unique energy emanating from Flamey. Yes, now I can travel together. Kyung. Heh, that's great. As the two conversed. Let's head down now. Having finished his coffee, Sejun went down with the plants and animals to the 79th floor of the tower. And then, oh, there's also a good candidate for the world tree here. Come forth, my roots. Seeing the birds bearing tree, Flamey guided its roots to the 79th floor of the tower. Chapter 283, Docking Success. Flamey, what's wrong? Pop. Using a leaf like a shovel to dig into the ground. Up. Sejun asked as he watched Flamey bury herself in a small hole. Because the soil here is good. Flamey answered with an awkward laugh. It was because, contrary to expectations, her roots couldn't find her location, so she had to bury her body in the ground and call for her roots. Heh, is that so? The soil is good. Is it because of the power I used? Sejun felt inexplicably happy at Flamey's words. Whoosh. It might get cold, so I'll light a fire for you. Thank you. Sejun lit a fire next to Flamey, worrying it might be cold. Guys, let's pick some egg fruits before dinner. He called the animals. Kyung. Kyungi will lift Dad high, hold onto Kyungi tight. As Kyungi said, enlarging his body to about Sejun's chest height and spreading his front legs to the side. Whoosh. Sejun tightly hugged Kyungi. Kyung. Docking complete, let's go. Bang. With Kyungi's shout, Sejun and Kyungi shot up to the top of the birds-bearing tree at an incredible speed. Of course, the other animals hanging onto Sejun's body were also with them. Once alone. Roots over here. Flamey started to call for her roots earnestly, spreading her leaves wide like filling up a Wi-Fi signal to full bars. And then, what's your name? She asked the birds-bearing tree while waiting for her roots. However, SSSRK. The birds-bearing tree was a complete baby tree and didn't know how to speak. SSSRK. Still happy to meet Flamey, who could listen to its words, the tree chattered energetically. Is that so? Flamey listened as attentively as she could to the tree's story. On the outskirts of destruction. Once Halphaz's recovery is complete, all of you will attack the 9 towers guarded by dragons simultaneously. Yes. The apostles of destruction from the 4th to the 12th seats answered in unison to the command of Fenrir, the first seat apostle of destruction. The 1st, 2nd, and 3rd seats among the 12 apostles of destruction held a much higher rank, allowing them to command the other apostles. And in the meantime, Jormungandr, create a fragment to burn my psyche and infiltrate the Black Tower. Fenrir, why do you insist on infiltrating the tower with a complete psyche instead of a fragment? The 3rd seat apostle of destruction, Jormungandr, The world-devouring serpent asked Fenrir with a puzzled expression. Entering the tower with a complete psyche meant instant annihilation upon death. It wasn't that they were worried about Fenrir's annihilation, reducing their strength. If Fenrir were to be annihilated, another apostle of destruction would be born to replace his position, so there was no loss in their power. However, Jormungandr didn't understand why Fenrir would take such a risk. It's because I am a noble wolf. All right. Jormungandr gave up trying to understand and decided to comply with Fenrir's request. Otherwise, he would nag until it was done. Early morning, on the 79th floor of the tower. Yuhaya. Sejun stretched as he woke up on Kyungi's belly. Meowwua. Kyuyeng. Piyo. The animals stretched too. Kyungi, tighten your belly. Kyung. Strength. At Sejun's command, Kyungi tightened his belly. Wobble. Kyungi's belly wobbled. All right. Using the rebound, Sejun launched himself into the air. Thud. And landed on the ground. Then, swoosh. He went over to the extinguished fire from last night, rummaging through the still warm ashes to start gathering the egg fruits. Yesterday, before Sejun went to bed, he had prepared them in advance so that cooking them at high temperatures would cause the Maillard reaction, turning the egg whites brown and creating Maillard eggs. Kyung. It's amazing. The egg fruit was colorless, but now it has color. It's like magic. Kyungi was amazed by the brown eggs. Haha, Kyungi, try tasting it. The taste will be amazing too. Sejun said with a smile. Maillard eggs have a different texture and taste compared to regular boiled eggs. The texture is more bouncy, and the taste is richer. Kyung. Kyo, that is amazing. Hehe, right, eat a lot. Sejun's shoulders lifted with pride as he and Kyungi earnestly ate the Maillard eggs. After Sejun had filled his stomach. Aileen, was everything okay this morning? He asked Aileen with a slightly nervous voice. Today marked the 362nd day of being stranded. The 99th floor of the tower saw the blue moon rise and set at dawn. Of course, with Aileen and the dragons, there shouldn't be any big problems, but since it was their first time leaving the farm during the blue moon, Sejun was a bit worried. The tower's administrator says she has taken care of everything itself. Thank you. The tower's administrator says you should continue to trust her with such things. Okay, Aileen, try this. Sejun tried to offer a Maillard egg to Aileen, but Aileen suddenly stopped responding. Must be busy, guys, wake up. Meowwa. Puo. Sejun put the Maillard egg meant for Aileen into the void storage and woke up Theo and Piot to feed them breakfast. Pip, it's delicious. Slurp. A golden bat appearing from nowhere also eagerly sucked up the elixir, cherry tomato juice that Sejun had taken out. Flamey, did you sleep well? Sejun approached Flamey, who was buried in the ground, and asked. Yes, did you sleep well, master? Yeah, I slept well. Flamey, is there anything you want to eat? Sejun asked Flamey, unsure of what to feed it. Normally, water would suffice, but seeing how it moved, its dietary preferences might have changed. No, I just need master's attention, the sun and water, hee. Is that so? Pad. Sejun stroked Flamey's leaves, which only said lovely things. Grow big, our Flamey. While Sejun was petting Flamey. Hut, I ate too much, meow. I need Chairman Park's patting on my belly to digest it, meow. Theo, having finished eating the grilled fish, swayed its tail and walked towards Sejun, thinking of getting its belly rubbed. However, what, meow? He found Sejun sitting on the ground, affectionately petting Flamey. That's right, meow. It's Flamey's first time going around with Chairman Park, so I, Vice Chairman Theo, can understand not, meow. Jealous Theo quickly climbed onto Sejun's lap. Theo, did you finish the grilled fish? Hut, yes, meow. As expected, Chairman Park's grilled fish is the best, meow. Theo answered while lying sprawled on Sejun's lap. And then, pop pop. Chairman Park, my stomach hurts because I overate, meow. Really? Yes, meow. With a pitiful expression, he started tapping his belly with his front paws, pretending to be sick. However, haha, where did you learn to pretend to be sick? Sejun immediately realized Theo wasn't really in pain because its voice was too energetic. Vice Chairman Theo, if your stomach hurts, it might be indigestion. Then you need to be bled. Meow, what's bleeding? It's when you prick here with a needle this big to let out some blood. Sejun spread his arms wide to indicate the size of a gigantic needle, then pointed at Theo's front paw's thumb. Meow, are you really going to prick my thumb with a needle that big? Then my thumb might disappear, meow. Theo, terrified by Sejun's words, made a scared expression. But it has to be done. If not treated, you might die. Chairman Park, I'm not in pain anymore, meow. I think I'm all better, meow. Theo suddenly tried to get up from Sejun's lap and run away. However, Vice Chairman Theo, where are you running off to? We still need to treat you. Haha, where do you think you're going, you little malingerer? Knowing Theo would try to run, Sejun quickly caught him. No, meow. I wasn't really in pain, meow. Okay, treatment complete. Meow. Haha, I meant the treatment for malingering is complete. Now lie down. Sejun petted Theo, whose feigned illness was cured. And then, what, meow? What just happened, meow? Theo still didn't understand the situation. Pad. I'm feeling sleepy, meow. Theo, who had been tense, gradually relaxed under Sejun's stroking. Gorarung. Thus ended the small incident during breakfast. Now let's get to work. Sejun began working with the animals. Yes, the cherry tomatoes taste like tomatoes, and the grapes taste like grapes. Responding to Sejun, the golden bat circled around the bird's bearing tree, singing a song to aid its growth. Once again, it seemed that the lyrics of the song being sung to the tree had no effect whatsoever. And then, Farmer's Warm Touch LV7 has been activated. The growth of the bird's bearing tree speeds up slightly while being touched. Your proficiency of Farmer's Warm Touch LV7 has increased slightly. Sejun, with Theo and Kyungi hanging, used the Farmer's Warm Touch skill, moving up and down the bird's bearing tree, aiding its growth. It was 3 birds with 1 stone, helping the tree grow, increasing skill proficiency and exercising. Pio. In the meantime, Piot harvested egg fruits and stored them in its bag. Then, Pio. Vice Chairman Theo, here are some egg fruits. Pewhut, good job, meow. Once the bag was full, it transferred the egg fruits to the bundle hanging on Sejun's waist, where Theo was. Then, Kyungi increased the weight a bit. As Sejun got used to climbing the tree, he spoke to Kyungi. Kyung. Understood. Kyungi slightly reduced the effect of its talent for lightness. Then, thud. Kyungi's body weight increased. Good. Sejun, with Kyungi now weighing 1,000 kg, climbed the tree again. While Sejun was sweating, climbing and treating the tree. Rumble. The ground vibrated, and the tree shook violently. Whoa! Sejun, unable to withstand the rebound of the shaking tree, was flung from it. Boing boing. Fortunately, Kyungi's psychokinesis prevented a fall. Kyung. Dad, you're too weak, work harder. However, he had to endure a tremendous nagging instead. As Sejun climbed the tree again, listening to Kyungi's scolding. Master, sorry, but still docking was a success. Flamey, who caused the earthquake, apologized to Sejun while connecting its body and roots. And then, it passed one of the nutrients it had given to Pottery to the roots of the bird's bearing tree. SSSRK. Yes, you can eat it, it's tasty. SSSRK. Encouraged by Flamey, the tree eagerly absorbed the nutrient. Were you hungry? Eat more. SSSRK. Flamey took out another nutrient from her roots and offered it to the tree. If only Pottery would eat like this too, eat more. while Flamey was pleased to see the tree enjoying the nutrients. The bird's bearing tree has grown into a mature tree. You have completed the quest. As a reward for completing the quest, you are recognized as the rightful owner of the land deed. Land deed skill, Farm Information LV, Max has been activated. A message appeared in front of Sejun, indicating the completion of the land deed quest. Oh, the quest is finished. Good job, everyone. Unaware that Flamey had shared her nutrients with the bird's bearing tree, Sejun naturally thought the achievement was due to his and the animal's efforts. And then, Farm Info. As Sejun was about to use the land deed skill to check the farm information. Rumble. The ground shook once again. But this time, Sejun clung tightly to the tree, avoiding being flung off and spared from Kyungi's nagging. What's happening? Is the ground here unstable? Sejun grew anxious with the continuous earthquakes. However, the cause of the earthquake was again Flamey's roots. Flamey quickly withdrew its roots from the farm to avoid revealing its identity when Sejun was about to use the farm information skill. Then, swish! The buds of the tree that had grown into a mature tree started to open, and flowers began to bloom. And then, chirp chirp, kaya, coo. Dozens of birds, big and small, were born from the flowers, announcing their birth with vigorous cries. Wow! Sejun was in awe of the beautiful flowers and the birds being born from them when. Pio Pio. Welcome, comrades. I'm your senior Purururu Yatra. Piat stepped forward to discipline its juniors. However, whoosh! A few birds with a challenging look of "you're the senior" in their eyes created flames on their bodies as they looked at Piat. Thanks to absorbing Flamey's nutrients, strong birds with the ability to use fire were born. They're pretty strong. Piat quietly climbed onto Sejun's foot and looked desperately at Theo. Vice Chairman Theo, please discipline them. Chapter 284. It's all thanks to me, meow. Tower 44th floor. Is that really true, Peng? Yes, we are preparing an event for Sejun. The moment the blue-backed penguins found out that Han Tae-jun and Kim Dong-sik were preparing an event for Sejun. We want to help too, Peng. Let us help too, Peng. The blue-backed penguins desperately wanted to assist them. If the event for Sejun was ruined because of them, we're dead, Peng. Thus, the blue-backed penguin tribe hurriedly asked for help from the animals around them. And just in time, the silver wolf tribe, who were on their way to deliver sturdy blade green onions and detoxifying green onions to the Earth Defense Force hunters on the 41st floor of the tower, received the message and rushed over. Tara, we will take you to the waypoint. Crouch. At the words of Elka, the chieftain of the silver wolf tribe, 2 silver wolves laid down in front of Han Tae-jun and Kim Dong-sik. Really? Because it's for Sejun. Yes, this is just for this one time. Han Tae-jun was surprised by the silver wolves' response. They were solitary wolves. Even though he had met and become quite friendly with them, the silver wolves had never offered them a ride before. In fact, a hunter who tried to secretly ride on a silver wolf almost had his arm cut off due to the silver wolf's anger. Once again, he was astonished by Sejun's immense influence, as the silver wolves readily offered their backs for Sejun's sake. Thus, with the help of the silver wolves, Han Tae-jun and Kim Dong-sik arrived at the waypoint and left for the first floor of the tower. Tell the other monsters quickly that there is an event for Sejun in 4 days. Yes. Following Elka's orders, the news about Sejun's event began to spread widely. Hut, I'll help, meow. Leave it to me, meow. When Piat was about to take out a contract from his bundle. Chirp. Purururu Yatra, we respect you. Kaya. Great senior, you're amazing. Coo. Sorry, we didn't recognize you. The birds started to look at Piat with eyes of respect as they calmed the fire. Theo, you're really amazing. Piat looked at Theo with admiring eyes, thinking that Theo had subdued the birds with his gaze, as expected of Theo. But, meow, Theo hadn't done anything yet. Hut, that's right, meow. I Vice Chairman Theo am amazing, meow. Although momentarily taken aback by Piot's flattery, he ultimately attributed everything to his own merit. It's all thanks to me, meow. Pio. That's right, Theonym, you're amazing. Thus Piot, thinking the birds respected him because of Theo, and Theo, naturally thinking everything was solved because of him. However, amazing, to climb onto the foot of the mother tree's owner. I want to climb like Purururu Yatra too. I'm envious. The birds admired Piot because he was on the foot of Sejun, the owner of the mother tree that gave birth to them. Unaware of this, Piot positioned himself as close to Theo as possible on Sejun's right foot. Hut, yes guys, I'm Theonym's next right front paw. Piot enjoyed the looks of admiration from the birds. And then, Pio. Follow me, I'll lead you home. When the birds were all born, Piot led about 100 birds to Ebro, the capital of Kav. As the birds followed Piot and left, a new mother tree has conceived and hatched birds. You have completed the mid-level administrator quest in a different manner. The reward is enhanced to double for the excellent result. You have acquired 2 million experience points as a quest completion reward. You have acquired 1 million tower coins as a quest completion reward. A message appeared in front of Sejun, indicating the completion of the mid-level administrator quest. Guys, let's start preparing to head back. Sejun was preparing to leave since all the quests were completed. Let's go, Flamey. When Sejun was carefully extracting Flamey, who was buried in the ground. No, meow, we have to follow Piot there, meow. Theo opposed Sejun's words, pointing proudly with his front paw towards Ebro, the capital of Kav. Hut. I'm supposed to receive something from Louis, meow. It was time for rewards. Black Tower Administrator Area. It's done. Aileen cheered in triumph, having finally finished engraving magic on the heart fragment of Kyra. Kihihi, it finished sooner than I thought. Aileen, motivated by Sejun's overachievement, increased her work pace. Thanks to that, she finished the job about half a day earlier than planned. The last step was to activate the magic, but that process wasn't particularly difficult, just time-consuming. Yum. While Aileen was eating an elixir, Cherry Tomato imbued with powerful magic power to recover her magic for the activation. The crystal ball that informed about the Black Tower's situation vibrated. Yum. What is it? As Aileen checked the notification while eating the elixir, Cherry Tomato. The mid-level administrator has completed the quest with excellent results. Contribution points are doubled. You have acquired 20 million contribution points. A message appeared. Kihihi, did our Sejun do something again? How many contribution points do we have? Aileen started to look through the powers she could give Sejun with the accumulated contribution points. The powers Aileen was looking at were special powers. These special powers could only be bought with contribution points and couldn't be shown to Sejun. Power Banishment. Banishes the target from the tower. This one won't work if the opponent is strong. It consumes too much magic power. Misuse could lead to Sejun's death from magic power depletion. Then this one. Aileen examined the next power. Power Lord of the Floor. Appoints the target as the Lord of that floor. This is ambiguous. It was safe but useless. You could just overpower the boss and appoint a new one with strength. Next is Power Unending Magic Power. Forcibly implants a mana stream in the body, so the magic power never dries up. Sigh, I think Sejun's body can't handle this. The word forcibly looked very dangerous. Implanting a mana stream could result in being swept away by the mana stream, leading to dissipation without a form. As Aileen was looking through the powers. Oh, this is good. Aileen found a power that perfectly suited her tastes. Power Extra Life stores 10% of your life force into a life orb every day. Once the life orb is full, you gain an extra life. You can create up to 3 life orbs. A power that stores life force like a battery. Huh, how did I miss this until now? Aileen tilted her head, having enjoyed power shopping for Sejun during her spare time. It was unlikely for her, the great black dragon, to forget something she had seen once. It felt suddenly new. Who cares? It's helpful for Sejun. Kihihi. Sejun received the power. Using the contribution points, Aileen gifted Sejun with power, extra life. Kyung. We're departing now. Giant Kyungi, enlarged to 10 meters, spoke while floating in the air in a Superman pose. And on Kyungi's back were Sejun, Theo, and Flamey. The golden bat had disappeared somewhere again, but it was probably following them well. As Sejun and the animals were flying towards the Rainbow Castle, the capital of the Kav Kingdom. The tower's administrator grants power, extra life, to the mid-level administrator's mark. You have acquired 1 extra life. The power Aileen painstakingly chose was granted to the black dragon tattoo on Sejun's right hand. Getting 1 extra life was the basic option given upon acquiring the power for the first time. Extra life. Sejun hurriedly examined the power. Store 10% of life force in a life orb, and when it's full, gain an extra life. According to this explanation, it meant gaining an extra life. It was an incredible power. Then, Puhyuhut Kyungi increased the speed. Meow. Excited at the thought of quickly giving Sejun the item he found with his front paw and receiving praise, Theo urged Kyungi. Kyung. Understood. Kyungi began to accelerate by increasing the output of his telekinesis. Boom! Kyungi broke the sound barrier in no time and flew. He. Sejun quickly closed his mouth to avoid the sharp wind entering. Kwang. In the meantime, Kyungi broke the speed of sound. Kwang. And reached hypersonic speed. Kyung. We've arrived. Kyungi arrived at Rainbow Castle. And power indestructible body is activated. Consumes magic power to protect the body from being destroyed. You are critically low on magic power. Dragon race skill, Dragon Scales, is activated. The scale of the great black dragon Kaiser is destroyed. You have consumed 1 extra life. Experiencing hypersonic speed with his bare body, 1 of Kaiser's scales and 1 extra life were consumed to save Sejun and disappeared without a trace. My life. As Sejun lamented the loss of his extra life and was reinscribing the black dragon tattoo on his left arm. Chairman Park, it's this way. Meow. Theo grabbed the hem of Sejun's clothes and hurried him. Got it. Thus, Sejun and the animals freely roamed around Rainbow Castle, following Theo. The birds inside Rainbow Castle were all away for the funeral of the mother tree, so the castle was empty. Then, hurry up, we don't have time. A loud voice was heard from afar. What? Meow. When the sound came from the direction they were heading. Those jerks, that's mine. Meow. Worried that the item he intended to give Sejun might be taken, Theo hurriedly ran towards it. Vice Chairman Theo, let's go together. Sejun followed Theo. Hurry up, pack it quickly. An ostrich shouted towards a group of giant gray mice, about 1 meter in size, inside the treasure warehouse of the Kav Kingdom. The giant mice were of a species known as giant gray mice, and the entire species operated under the name of the Underworld Mercenary Group, taking on illegal requests to earn money. And the ostrich commanding them was Venus, the priestess of the tree and the client of the Underworld Mercenary Group. To think the Mantis Queen would die so easily. Venus, the priestess of the tree who harbored hatred towards the mother tree for not granting her the ability to fly like it did to others. Thus, Venus had made a pact with the Mantis Queen and helped her steal the power of the mother tree. The agreement was for Venus to possess the wealth of the Kav Kingdom, but everything went awry with the death of the Mantis Queen. There's no time. Soon the funeral will end, and while clearing the mother tree's dust, the secret passage connected to my room will be discovered. The opportunity was only today, while all the birds were away for the mother tree's funeral. Thus, Venus hurriedly called the underworld mercenary group, made a deal, and was robbing the treasure warehouse. However, stop right there, meow. There was already a being who had claimed that treasure as their own. Hug, hug. It's all mine, meow. I'm going to give it to Chairman Park, meow. Theo threatened the mice, moving the treasure with his hissing. Squeak, squeak. At Theo's hissing, the mice hurriedly called their comrades. Rustle, rustle, rustle. Over 1,000 mice ran out of the treasure warehouse, emitting a foul odor. A cat in front of mice. But the story changes when the number of mice exceeds 1,000. Squeak, squeak. The mice, trusting in their numbers, boldly approached Theo. And then, Pew Pew Hut, dare to mess with me, Golden Cat Theo Park, meow. Swish. When Theo was about to swiftly wield his dragon claws at the mice. Squeak. Flutter. The mice, waving what would have been a white flag if it weren't so filthy, surrendered. The situation is very different if the adversary happens to be the Golden Cat. Chapter 285. Vice Chairman Theo's paws are worth $1 million. Hey, why are you surrendering? Venus, the priestess of the tree, shouted in confusion at the surrender of the underworld mercenaries. Then, squeak. You didn't say that Golden Cat Theo Park was here. Instead, Django, the leader of the underworld mercenaries, scolded Venus with anger. What, Golden Cat? Where, the gold? Are you so incompetent that you can't handle one stupid-looking cat? Ready to draw and swing his dragon claw. Meow, this stinks as terrible as Chairman Park's poop smell. Venus exclaimed in an angry voice, seeing Theo rummaging through his bag in disgust due to the stench of the rats. Venus, who had been waiting for the death of the mother tree, had no interest in external news. Thus, she had not heard any rumors about the rising star of the Black Tower, the Golden Cat Theo. Squeak, squeak, squeak. Stupid, watch your words. That person is the great black dragon's subordinate, the deadly dragon claw Golden Cat Theo Park. Django hurriedly explained to Venus about Theo, who was plugging his nose with a nose plug. In their view, Theo and Venus were on the same side. A single word from Venus could have led to the annihilation of everyone present. Squeak. Anyway, we're getting out of here. What? Wait a minute. Thus, Django quickly cut ties with Venus and... Squeak, squeak. Great Golden Cat Theo Park, may we leave now? He asked Theo, groveling, but... Pew Pew Hut, of course not, meow. Theo firmly refused Django's request, intending to tell them to refill the treasury before leaving. However, squeak, squeak. Understood, then please eat only me. Misunderstanding Theo's words, Django walked forward and lay down in front of Theo, saying, This is the fate of a leader. Thank you guys for everything. If my life can save the other rats. Django closed his eyes, preparing to be eaten by Theo. However, why are you lying down, meow? Hurry up and follow, meow. Theo walked past Django towards the treasury. Squeak, squeak. Yes, understood. At Theo's call, Django hurriedly ran to Theo's side. Theonim spared us. Theonim is generous. As Django was praising Theo. What? This treasure is mine. Venus stood in Theo's way, but... Move aside, meow. Thump. She was knocked unconscious by a hit to the back of her head from Theo's front paw. A moment later. What's this smell? Sejun, who followed Theo late, covered his nose from the terrible stench. Kyung. Dad, Kyungi thinks she pooped herself. Kyungi, hanging from Sejun's leg, said, looking at the unconscious Venus. Being with the underworld mercenaries for a long time had deeply ingrained the smell. Then, pop, pop. Master, first block your nose with this. Kyungi, take one too. Flamey plucked one of her leaves and handed them to both. Flamey, are you okay? Sejun asked Flamey in a worried voice, hesitant to take it. Yes, I'm okay. Look, tada, the leaf grows back. Flamey reassured Sejun by regrowing the leaf. Swoosh, swoosh. Thanks to Flamey, Sejun comfortably inserted her leaves into his and Kyungi's noses. Kyung. Flamyanuna, your leaf smells good. That's true. Thanks to the fresh scent from Flamey's leaf, the poop smell was no longer present. Let's find Theo first. Kyung. Got it. Sejun, along with Kyungi and Flamey, moved towards where they felt Theo's presence. As Sejun passed by, whoosh, the wings of the unconscious Venus caught fire and burned completely. If you do something bad, you must be punished. Flamey, who had learned about Venus's deeds to the mother tree through the birds-bearing tree, punished Venus on behalf of the mother tree. Seoul Gangnam. Master, I will bring the car. Right after leaving the tower, while Kim Dong-sik went to get the car. Master. Yes, it's me. Han Tae-jun called his first disciple, Cha Si-hyuk, who was handling the work of the Awakeners Association on his behalf. And, what safe zone, what's that? Cha Si-hyuk reported to Han Tae-jun that 3 more black towers had appeared in Korea. And because of this new phenomenon, the whole world was requesting talks with Korea. I have more urgent matters to attend to, so you handle this, Si-hyuk. What? There's something more urgent than this. I'm hanging up. Han Tae-jun declined Cha Si-hyuk's request to return quickly and hung up the phone. It would soon be a year since Sejun had been unable to return home. Naturally, one would want to go home even more on such a day. So now, the most important thing was to ensure Sejun didn't fall into homesickness and decide to leave the tower. Then, vroom, Kim Dong-sik arrived with the parked car. Let's go. Yes. Han Tae-jun and Kim Dong-sik headed to Hanam-dong to deliver Kim Mi-ran's home cooking to Sejun. Pyu Hut, this is exactly what I was looking for, meow. Theo found what he wanted in the treasure vault and smiled brightly. Squeak. Congratulations, Theonim. Clab, clab, clab. The underworld mercenaries nearby congratulated Theo. Pyu Hut, thank you, meow. No, not thankful, meow. Theo quickly took back his gratitude as the rats had just tried to steal his treasure. And, Pyu Hut, you guys can leave now, meow. Squeak. Thank you. Of course, it wasn't just about letting them go. Stamp your paw here before you leave, meow. Theo pulled out a bundle of contracts. You guys are now my subordinates, meow. Vice Chairman Theo was hard at work even today. As Theo was collecting stamps on the contracts from the rats. Vice Chairman, what is all this? Sejun arrived at the treasure vault and was shocked to see the bustling large rats. He felt chills all over his body without realizing. Pyu Hut, Chairman Park, you're here, meow. Guys, this is Chairman Park, meow. Theo greeted Sejun warmly and introduced him to the rats. Squeak, squeak. Hello, it's an honor to meet you. God. Sejun ended up greeting over 1,000 rats. Upon closer inspection, they seemed somewhat cute. If only they were cleaned, they might look even cuter. Kyung. I am Dad's son, Kyungi. Kyungi proudly introduced himself to the rats, pointing at Sejun. Kyungi's dad is the best. As they exchanged greetings, the inside of the Rainbow Castle became busy. Hurry and find Venus. The royal guard, who had held a funeral and discovered Venus's secret passage, entered Rainbow Castle to search for Venus. And, it's the treasure vault, there are intruders here. The royal guard discovered Sejun's group and the underworld mercenaries inside the treasure vault and called for backup. Who are you to be in our kingdom of Kav's treasure vault? The soldiers who requested backup aimed their weapons at them. Squeak. Theonim, we will clear the way for you. Django stood in front of the royal guard. Squeak, squeak. If there's a fight, Dad will be in danger. Put down your weapons. Kyungi also tried to step forward. Kyungi, let's eat honey. Kyueha Kyung. Hehe, sounds good. Sejun diverted Kyungi's attention to honey to avoid further damage. Then, these people are guests of the kingdom, stand down. Pio Pio. That's right, don't attack them. Chirp. Hello, owner of the mother tree. Kaio. Hello. King Louis of Kav appeared with Piat and 100 baby birds. Just a moment ago, Prana and Louis found a group of baby birds wandering around the capital while returning to the castle. Louis, look, those are newly born chicks. Oh, really? Thus, Prana and Louis flew towards the birds. Pio Pio. This is a school. The food is so-so, but the sausages sold at the canteen are delicious. Piat was seen eagerly sharing all the knowledge it knew with the baby birds. However, Pio, that's enough guidance around the capital. Let's go to the castle. Piat, not even 2 months old, didn't have much knowledge to share with the baby birds. As Piat was about to lead the birds to Rainbow Castle. Piat, where did these baby birds come from? Pio Pio. Responding quickly to Prana's question, Piat explained that Sejun and they had worked hard, and the new mother tree had birthed these birds. Really, I must see it for myself. Thus, Prana went to check the new mother tree. Can we go see the castle now? Of course, follow me, I'll guide you. Piat, following Louis with the baby birds, found Sejun. Thanks to that, Theo managed to leave the treasure vault without any major conflicts, holding the item he wanted. Louis, stamp it, meow. Theo handed Louis a contract. The contract stated that the treasure vault would be given to Theo. Louis, who had promised to give what was requested, saw that Theo wanted all the treasures inside the treasure vault. Though it seemed like a greedy request. Press. Louis happily stamped the contract. If it weren't for Theo, the country would have been ruined, so giving away one treasure vault was more than feasible. Moreover, unbeknownst to Theo, there were several more treasure vaults within Rainbow Castle. Pew Pew Hut, now all of this is mine, meow. While Theo was laughing brightly, unaware of the fact. Your Majesty, we have found Venus. A soldier ran to Louis, reporting that they had found the unconscious Venus. Then I must go as I have matters to attend to. Sejunim, Theonim, thank you for nurturing the mother tree. Louis bowed in thanks to Sejun and Theo, and hurried off to where Venus was. And we'll be leaving now. Whoosh! The underworld mercenaries also departed. Let's get out of here for now. Sejun moved to a place, without the foul smell, to head to the 99th floor of the tower via waypoint. Arriving at the waypoint, Sejun asked, Vice Chairman Theo, so did you find what you wanted? Pew Pew Hut, yes, meow. Chairman Park, take this, meow. Theo pulled out a bottle containing a teal-colored liquid from his bag and handed it to Sejun. What's this? Sejun moved the bottle around, looking at the liquid that occasionally shimmered with a metallic luster. Pew Pew Hut, it's something good, meow. Theo, hanging from Sejun's leg, confidently answered with a twinkle in his eye. Praise me, meow. Pet me, meow. Really? Sejun petted Theo's head with one hand while examining the bottle closely. Giant's blood. Giant's blood. Sejun, almost brainwashed by the education that unidentified items are dangerous. Aileen, could you appraise this for me? Sejun quickly asked Aileen to appraise it. Shortly after, the tower's administrator is pleased that Theo has brought an excellent item. Following Aileen's words, the appraised bottle appeared on Sejun's palm. And, as expected of our Vice Chairman Theo, Vice Chairman Theo's paws are worth $1 million. Sejun checked the item and excitedly exclaimed while holding Theo's front paw. Pew Pew Hut, that's right, meow. My front paws are very expensive, meow. Theo smirked and quietly moved Sejun's hand to his belly. The outskirts of destruction. It seems the recovery has finally ended. Fenrir remarked as he watched the red mist solidify and form a shape. And then, as Fenrir thought, Half has finished recovering and revealed his form. What's going on? Halfaz asked, seeing that all 12 apostles of destruction were gathered in one place. Halfaz, take command in my absence. What? Get the details from Jormungandr. You all depart. Yes. At Fenrir's command, the 9 apostles of destruction from the 4th to the 12th seats moved towards the 9 towers guarded by dragons. Let's go too. Understood. Fenrir covertly approached the Black Tower, riding on a fragment of Jormungandr. A moment later, boom! The battle began with the 5th seat of the Apostles of Destruction, the Screaming Banshee, and the Ice Queen Sasha launching an attack that froze the entire Red Tower. Chapter 286. I won't die before then, will I? Hazeli. Blood of the Bronze Giant. This is the blood drawn from the body of a bronze giant. Upon consumption, both stamina and stamina potential increase by 10% each. The maximum increase in stamina and stamina potential is 100. Upon consumption, you can awaken the talent, Herculean Strength. Once you drink the blood of the bronze giant, drinking it again will not produce any effects. Expiration date, none. Grade S+. Sejun smiled as he held the glass bottle in his hand. The talent, Herculean Strength, was unknown, but a 10% increase in both stamina and stamina potential was an enormous number. While Sejun was looking at the options of the glass bottle, Pew-hud. Theo licked his belly eagerly, waiting for Sejun's touch. Now the fur won't fall out, meow. Puppy. While Theo was grooming himself, Sejun opened the bottle. A surprisingly not bad scent flowed from the bottle, a bit of a metallic smell with a sweet undertone. It won't taste strange, will it? Usually, if there are distinctive tastes like bitterness or sourness, the description mentions the taste. But since there was no such description here, Sejun boldly one-shot the blood of the bronze giant, somewhat relieved. Gulu-gulu. The thick liquid entered his mouth. But, unexpectedly, an indescribably strange taste covered his tongue. He. Sejun grimaced and hurriedly grabbed some water. Gulp, gulp. He swallowed the blood of the bronze giant in his mouth. It was a bizarre taste that couldn't be described in words. Moreover, the worst part was that the liquid was so thick that even drinking water couldn't wash it down well. It's a disaster, meow. Chairman Park, your face is rotten again, meow. Tata-tata. Thump, thump, thump. Theo quickly climbed onto Sejun's shoulder and started kneading Sejun's face. Aflahi. Hey, don't press down. Sejun desperately covered his mouth with his hand to prevent any of the bronze giant's blood from spewing out, pushed by Theo's kneading. Not a single drop can be wasted. Already having lost his taste, Sejun swallowed it all, feeling wronged. And then, you have consumed the blood of the bronze giant. Your stamina and stamina potential have increased by 10%. Stamina increased by 81. Stamina potential increased by 85. You have awakened the talent, Herculean Strength. The message appeared. Fortunately, not a single drop of the bronze giant's blood was wasted, so he received 100% of the item's effect. Have done, now to check the talent. Sejun smiled as he checked the content of the talent, Herculean Strength. He hadn't expected much from the talent since his stats had already increased significantly. However, talent, Herculean Strength. A talent with high potential in strength. Every time you level up, your strength increases by 10. Your strength potential increases by 500. The talent was a jackpot. Oh, Sejun was happy. Pew-hud, now I've fixed Chairman Park's face, meow. After finishing the kneading with a proud expression, Theo flopped down on Sejun's lap. Pang pang. Chairman Park, I'm ready now, meow. He said, proudly patting his belly. Okay, later. Meow. Clank. Sejun put Theo and the animals into the void storage and moved to the 99th floor of the tower. Thus, Sejun left the 79th floor. Kugung. Flamey moved its roots again and approached the birds-bearing tree. Then, Flaminium, please give me a name. What, you want me to give you a name? Yes. The birds-bearing tree, now able to speak upon becoming a mature tree, asked Flamey to name it. Since I'm Flamey, let's name you Little Flamey. Thus, the birds-bearing tree on the 79th floor was named Little Flamey. Goo! A demon with a pair of black horns and red wings, engulfed in flames, appeared amidst the swirling red mist. It was Melpheus, the demon of ruin, fourth seat, and one of the apostles of destruction. Burn it all. As soon as Melpheus revealed himself, he attacked the blue tower. Whoosh! Huge black flames poured down towards the blue tower like meteors. Block it! Coo! The blue dragons guarding the territory fired their frost breaths, blocking Melpheus's attack. Had the number of dragons guarding their territory not doubled recently due to the appearance of Halfas, they would have suffered significant damage from Melpheus's surprise attack. Light of ruin. In the meantime, Melpheus prepared another attack. Coo! The blue dragons blocked Melpheus's attack with their breaths again. A fierce battle of offense and defense. No, a desperate defense. Huff, huff. Stay strong. We must hold on until our leader arrives. They were growing tired from blocking Melpheus's attacks. Cuck, it would be disappointing if you're already tired. In contrast, Melpheus, who wasn't tired at all. Then, you bastard, how dare you show up here? Morling Aster, the great blue dragon and head of the Aster family, appeared with all the blue dragons from the territory. Isn't it the place where ice lizards live? Die, wave of ruin. Black flames rose like a tidal wave, attempting to engulf the dragons. How dare you? Coo! Morling fired his breath at the approaching black flames. As the leader of the blue dragons, Morling's breath was of a different caliber compared to the others. Boom! Morling's breath collided with Melpheus's black flames. However, eek! Morling's breath was blocked by the wave of ruin, unable to advance further. In the meantime, the blue dragons who appeared with Morling gave the essence of ice to the dragons fighting Melpheus, helping them recover their strength. The essence of ice was used not only to balance the world, but also to restore the strength of the blue dragons. And then, support our leader. Coo! All the blue dragons fired their breaths towards Morling's breath. Then naturally, the other blue dragons' breaths merged with Morling, growing larger and larger. Bang! With the support of the other dragons, Morling's breath destroyed the wave of ruin and attacked Melpheus. Cuck, the blue dragon's skills haven't rusted yet. Crack! Melpheus tore off his arm frozen by the blue dragon's breaths and said, "But if that's all you've got, you're all going to die." Melpheus threw his torn arm at them. Boom! Buffy! Morling blocked the arm, but the aftermath caused scales to be torn off, leaving a small wound. Release the seal. In the meantime, Melpheus simultaneously released the seals up to his third stage. 3 more pairs of wings appeared on Melpheus's back, increasing his power 6-fold. And then, crack! At the same time, Melpheus's arm began to regenerate. Attack! Coo! Morling fired his breath at Melpheus, who was regenerating his arm. Coo! The other blue dragons supported him. Cuck, is this all you've got? Melpheus effortlessly blocked their attacks with his remaining hand, while regenerating his other arm. We must hold on until support from the other dragons arrives. Morling Aster fired his breath, looking around at the brown tower and green tower, which were closest to the blue tower. Being the closest, they were the most likely to notice any abnormalities with the blue tower first and come to support. But then, Morling saw brown and green dragons fighting against the apostles of destruction. The brown tower and green tower were also already in battle with other apostles of destruction. Could it be that all 9 towers are being attacked by the apostles of destruction? In such a situation, there was no chance of victory. just as Morling was about to fall into despair. Boom! What is this? What else? It's me, the great black dragon, Kaiser Pratani. Kaiser appeared out of nowhere and began attacking Melfius. Boom Kwang! Kaiser unleashed relentless attacks, and Melfius was caught off guard. And then, Kukuk, see you next time. Crack! With his neck bitten by Kaiser, Melfius turned into red mist and disappeared as his last resort. Clang! Collect, Morling, are you okay? Kaiser, who picked up the falling coin, asked Morling. Though. Morling tried to respond calmly. Then, Morling, you're not okay, you're injured, let me heal you. Kaiser noticed a small wound on Morling's shoulder. Seeing a good opportunity to discreetly collect dragon blood, Kaiser approached Morling with a bright smile. No, I can handle this much. Morling tried to refuse, but, no, you must be tired from the fight, let me heal you. Kaiser pretended to heal Morling's wound. Siarik, and yanked out a bunch of scales around Morling's wound. Crunch, and pressed the wound to extract dragon blood. Since the regeneration ability was so strong and the wound had already healed significantly, blood was not flowing out well. Thus, Morling was subjected to a blood donation disguised as treatment. Hey, it hurts. Just heal it with magic. Why are you extracting scales and blood? Morling started to get angry as the treatment was much more painful than the wound itself. All right, healing. After collecting what he needed, Kaiser quickly healed Morling's wound with magic. And the same thing happened in the Brown Tower and Green Tower. You guys are injured, let me heal you. Oh, you're injured. Kellyan and Ramter also collected dragon blood, just like Kaiser. 99th floor of the tower. Gugagung. On the way to the farm riding Torian. Swoosh swoosh. Pewhut nice meow. Theo lay sprawled on Sejun's lap, receiving the petting he missed earlier with a happy smile. And then, Kirorong. Pirorong. Kyungi lay his head beside Sejun's hip and fell asleep, while Piat lay on Kyungi's belly, sleeping. Hee, the sun feels so warm and nice. Lastly, Flamey was photosynthesizing on Sejun's shoulder, enjoying the sun from a higher position than usual with a happy expression. Torian, let's take a detour and go slowly today. Master. Torian slowed down and took a curved path instead of a straight one, fulfilling Sejun's desire to enjoy a peaceful time with the animals. A little later. Master, we have arrived. Thus, Torian announced their arrival at the 99th floor farm, having taken about an hour longer than usual. All right, Vice Chairman Theo, let's get up. Meow, no meow, not yet meow. Theo threw a tantrum, wanting more petting even after nearly 2 hours. Click. It's over. Meowwua. Sejun, with a firm attitude, grabbed Theo by the nape and geared up on his knees. Let's go. He slid down from Torian's head, holding Kyungi and Piat in his arms. Swoosh. We've arrived. Thus, Sejun stepped onto the ground. Guys, let's eat. They quickly had dinner with fried eggs and dried sweet potatoes and went to bed early. The next morning. All right. Sejun woke up feeling refreshed. Then, you have stored 10% of your vitality during your sleep. 1% of the life orb has been completed. Messages appeared in front of Sejun. With 10% of Sejun's vitality, 0.1% of the life orb could be filled. It would take 1,000 days to complete one life orb. In 1,000 days, he would have an extra life. One life every 3 years. It was an incredible benefit, but I won't die before then, will I? The surrounding environment was not good, so this aspect was not well highlighted. Vice Chairman Theo, let's get up. Meowwua. He put the whining Theo on his lap and swoosh. Marked the date on the wall, starting the morning of day 363. And then, I need to take care of the black beans. Clank. The first place Sejun headed to was the void storage. Clicking. Sejun opened the golden box of abundance, took out 2 black beans, and then closed it again. As Sejun was leaving the void storage with 6 black beans. Kahaha, when did our Sejun arrive? Yuahaha Sejun. Sejun, you lucky bastard. The dragons flew towards Sejun with happy expressions, carrying hefty money pouches. Chapter 287. Everything has its use once you get its stamp, meow. Let's watch the battle from here. Got it. As they approached the Black Tower, the fragment of Jormungandr camouflaged itself upon Fenrir's order and hid its body. And then, boom! At Fenrir's command, the Hydra, an apostle of destruction with 9 heads, attacked the Black Tower. Block it! The guarding black dragons hurriedly stepped forward to block the Hydra. However, with their strength, they could barely fend off the unsealed apostle of destruction. The black dragons started to get pushed back gradually. At that moment, how dare you raise your heads and push forward here? A black dragon, twice as big as the others, appeared. It's Kaiser. Fenrir focused his attention and observed Kaiser closely, as Halfas had mentioned that Kaiser had swallowed something and suddenly became stronger. After a short while, can you also block this power? As the Hydra released its seals up to the 3rd level and grew gigantic. Hahaha, with that level of power you cannot defeat me. Kaiser stepped forward, swallowed something, and with a booming blast, destroyed the Hydra with 3 attacks and flew off to assist another tower. I found it. Fenrir, who had been closely observing Kaiser, noticed that Kaiser first swallowed 4 round, oval-shaped fruit of red, yellow, green, and blue colors. And then, after swallowing a black round, oval-shaped fruit, his energy was significantly amplified. I need to find that black fruit. Fenrir now knew exactly what he needed to find. Let's go. Got it. Upon Fenrir's order, the fragment of Jormungandr moved towards the Black Tower again. Thanks to the other apostles of destruction drawing the dragon's attention, none of them noticed Fenrir's approach. Here you go, take 2 each. You know the price, right? Sejun extended his right hand, showing 6 black beans in his left. Hahaha, of course. Of course I know. Hahaha, don't worry. Click, click, click. The dragons placed their money bags on Sejun's right hand and took 2 black beans each. They had not yet been able to give out the dragon blood they received from other dragons because they couldn't make the vessels. The 3 dragons planned to use the scales they received as the main ingredient to create vessels for holding each dragon tribe's blood. Let me check if the money is correct. Sejun started counting the money in the money bags. Trust is good, but thorough verification is better. 55 billion tower coins. There's more money here. Turns out dragons can make mistakes too. Sejun checked the first money bag and said, Hahaha, Sejun, I put in a bit more. Ramter boasted with a hearty voice. Oh really, thank you. As Sejun expressed his gratitude to Ramter. Hahaha, Ramter, you stingy guy. Exactly. Kaiser and Kellyan mocked Ramter. Then how much did you guys put in? Provoked by their teasing, Ramter raised his voice and asked. -5. -5. Kaiser and Kellyan hesitated, only mentioning the first digit, unable to give a full answer. They didn't want to be teased for putting in less money than the other. Come on, Sejun, hurry and check. Okay. Eventually Ramter, feeling impatient, urged Sejun. 56 billion tower coins, 58 billion tower coins. Sejun confirmed the remaining money bags. Kaiser grimaced silently at Sejun's words. Hahaha, stingy guys. Kellyan became triumphant and started mocking Kaiser and Ramter in earnest. And then, Sejun, since these guys are stingy, let's just trade the black beans between us next time. You get out. Yeah, Kaiser, kick him out. Kellyan nearly got chased out of the Black Tower for provoking them unnecessarily. Hahaha, it was obviously a joke. shall we have a drink? Yuhum, shall we? Do it. Kellyan had no choice but to appease their anger with his treasured liquor. In the end, Kellyan lost both money and liquor. As the dragons went a drink, Chairman Park, I want to burn some money, meow. Theo, with sparkling eyes, said while looking at Sejun's money bag. It's tempting, meow. All right, should I give you 100 million tower coins? Pew hut, no, meow. I can burn more money now, meow. Thanks to the talent, energy drain, Theo became stronger by absorbing energy from his surroundings. Because of this, the amount of money he could burn at once had increased. Then 200 million. That's right, meow. Here. Having plenty of money, Sejun happily gave Theo 200 million tower coins. Thank you, meow. Poof. Theo turned golden as he burned the money Sejun gave him. Pew hut, I am none other than the golden cat Theo Park, meow. Theo was feeling smug after burning money for the first time in a while. Vice Chairman Theo, go run an errand. Sejun said, looking at Theo. It's almost been a year since he got stranded in the tower. So he planned to invite the founding members of the farm for a modest party to celebrate surviving a year. Meow. Hearing Sejun's words, Theo, who was glowing golden and feeling smug, suddenly drooped his ears and looked dejected. The golden glow faded. And then he looked at Sejun with the most pitiful expression. Can't I just not go, meow? Nope, you can't. Go right after breakfast. Chi got it, meow. Realizing his act didn't work. Flop. Chairman Park, pet my belly and feed me churu before I go, meow. Theo decided to enjoy everything he could on Sejun's lap before leaving. A little later. Chairman Park, I'll be back, meow. All right, take care. Pio. Chairman Sejun, I'll be back too. All right, Piat, take care as well. Theo and Piat went down the tower, receiving Sejun's farewell. Sejun thought of the modest party. However, Pew hut, did you hear that, Piat? It's a party, meow. Pio. Pew hut, it's a party. If that was the plan, sending Theo and Piat down was a mistake. The news of an event for Sejun had already spread throughout the 99th floor below, thanks to the Silver Wolves. Thanks to that, the lower floors were busy preparing for the party. Pew hut, a party for Chairman Park must be grand and magnificent, meow. With Theo joining in, the modest party Sejun had in mind was long gone. Time for quest. Unaware of all this, Sejun, who had bid farewell to them, opened his void storage to complete a job quest. Rustle. And took out a pile of corn. And then, plug. He started detaching each kernel of corn. You have obtained a corn seed. Your job experience points increase slightly. Your proficiency of seed harvesting LV7 has slightly increased. You must use the seed harvesting skill 999,999 more times to complete the job quest. Plug. Sejun silently continued seed harvesting. Your proficiency of seed harvesting LV7 has filled and the level has increased. Hoo. The seed harvesting skill reaching level 8 brought Sejun a sense of satisfaction. And then, plug. As Sejun focused back on his work. Due to seed harvesting LV8 effect, you have obtained a sticky corn seed. Your job experience points increase slightly. Your proficiency of seed harvesting LV8 has slightly increased. You must use the seed harvesting skill 991,280 one more times to complete the job quest. Sticky corn seed. He obtained a new variety of seeds. When harvesting, there's a very low chance to obtain a new variety of seeds. Thanks to the newly added effect from seed harvesting skill reaching level 8. No achievement message appeared. It seemed that harvesting the fruit was necessary for it to be recognized as an achievement. Great! Sejun went to the golden tree stump pot of abundance, holding the sticky corn seed with a happy heart. Because planting it in the golden tree stump pot of abundance which speeds up growth by 10 times, would allow for quicker harvesting. However, the golden tree stump pot of abundance, where rice had been planted, was almost losing its golden glow. The power of abundance had been used up. Sejun considered using abundance for a moment, but decided, no, let's just wait. He chose to wait for the power of abundance to replenish itself naturally. The golden tree stump pot of abundance was miraculous. It seemed like it would be too much for his ordinary vitality to handle. Still, it's a relief. Looking at the well-ripened golden rice, Sejun said, "Sticky, you stay here for a moment. You have planted the sticky corn seed in the land imbued with magic. Your job experience points have slightly increased. Due to the sound of the farmer's footsteps, the effect of magic seed sowing LV8 has been enhanced. Due to the effect of magic seed sowing LV8, the growth speed of the rice doubles for 24 hours. Your proficiency of magic seed sowing LV8 has slightly increased." Sejun planted the sticky corn seed in a corner of the field and swish. He took out a sickle and began harvesting the rice. Kwek. In the meantime, mushroom ants approached and crunch. They husked the harvested rice with their front teeth, producing white rice. Today it's soy sauce egg rice, SSS. Swish. Thinking of mixing the white rice with soy sauce and a raw egg, Sejun drooled and harvested the rice with even more enthusiasm. Meow. Pio. Theo and Piot were humming a tune as they went down the tower. Then, meow. Pio. Theonym, it's a crossroad. A crossroad appeared before them again. Hut, this way, meow. Theo confidently headed towards the right path. Knowing that pondering longer wouldn't necessarily lead to a better answer, Theo just guessed. As Theo and Piot passed, thump, the right path closed, and the face of a snake sealed shut. It'll be fine, right? Inside him, Fenrir was transforming his body to enter the black tower. Well, he'll figure it out. Creak. The fragment of Jormungandr opened its mouth again, waiting for its next prey. Thus, Theo and Piot entered the belly of Jormungandr again. SSS. White snakes appeared before them. Pababek. Piot, pick up the coins, meow. Theo defeated the white snakes, and Pio. Yes. Peg. Piot followed Theo, picking up the white coins. Meow. Theo kept defeating the white snakes blocking the way and continued to run forward. Pio. Theonym, why aren't we leaving right away? Piot asked, seeing Theo continue to walk despite knowing it wasn't the right way. Hut, there's something here, meow. Theo laughed and replied. Theo was about to use one meow slash to escape as soon as the white snakes appeared. However, meow. Theo felt an attraction pulling his front paws and decided to follow the path. As Theo and Piot followed the path, oink! A familiar scream came from the opposite side. Meow, that sound, let's go, Piot, meow. Theo hurried towards the source of the sound. And then, Theonym, please save me. Urin, who had once again taken the wrong path, had been trapped inside the body of a fragment of Jormungandr for days and was in danger of dying. Hut, Urin, you need money to escape from here, meow. Hand over the money, meow. Theo, thinking his front paws were drawn to Urin, boldly extended his paw and demanded money. Of course, I'll give you as much as you need. True to his status as an icon of misfortune and gullibility, Urin took out all the money bags he had on him and handed them over to Theo. Receiving 20 money bags, 20 billion tower coins. Hut, let's get out of here, meow. Theo burned all the money inside the bags. Poof! Theo shining so brightly in gold that it was dazzling. Hut. Indeed, money burns the best when it's burned, meow. And then, snap! He pulled out the dragon claw on his right front paw. Swoosh! and swung it with overflowing energy, one meow/meow. There was no sound, but the magical claw's threat made the surrounding animals shiver with goosebumps. A few seconds later, "These. 5 lines were drawn across the fragment of Jormungandr, splitting it into 6 pieces. SSSSS. And it turned into dust and disappeared. Clang. Piat, pick up the coins, meow. Pio. Yes. Piat swiftly flew around, picking up the white coins. Then, Pio. Piat's eyes caught sight of an animal with dark indigo fur falling. Whimper. The young animal flailing with its short legs. Hut, you're my subordinate now. Snap. Piat gracefully caught the dark indigo animal. Pio. And diligently flew back to Theo with it. Whimper. What's this, a dog, meow? Theo grabbing the front paw of the dog. That was giving him a hostile look. Press. Stamped its paw on a contract. He felt a strong attraction coming from this dog. Hut, everything has its use once you get it stamped, meow. Theo laughed, looking at Fenrir. Chapter 288. This guy is as weak as Chairman Park used to be, meow. Within the fragments of Jormungandr, Fenrir was sealing the energy of destruction inside his body to avoid detection by the Black Tower. It's almost time. Fenrir was putting the final touches on the nearly completed sealing process. A moment later. Wung. Kekek, it's done. The core, with the energy of destruction sealed within, was completed. Thanks to this, Fenrir's power was significantly weakened, but even the faint power leaking from the sealed core was much stronger than the power of the fragments of the Apostle of Destruction. Thud. This is a bit uncomfortable. I need to change my body. His current body was made to withstand great power, making it difficult to move even a single step with his current strength. Swoosh. Fenrir reconfigured his body to match his weakened power. Just wait, you vermin of the Black Tower. I, Fenrir, the god-devouring wolf in the first seat among the Apostle of Destruction, will show you my terror. Kekekek. As Fenrir was about to show the inhabitants of the Black Tower his terror, with a sinister laugh. Ting. Something pierced through the gap in Fenrir's reconfiguring body and struck the core. And then, the shock caused Fenrir's core to be ejected from his body. The attack that pierced through a moment lasting less than 0.00001 seconds and hit Fenrir's core was Theo's one meow slash. It was a stroke of luck for all beings in the Black Tower, but a misfortune for Fenrir. However, Fenrir's misfortune was not over yet. SSSS. The ejected core of Fenrir continued to escape as the body of the Jormungandr fragment turned to dust. The vertical speed approached 0 due to gravity, and it began to fall downwards. Wind. GRR. Trying desperately to catch his core with his incredibly weakened body, reconfigured after the core was ejected. Pio. Snap. A tiny creature snatched it away. Kaying. Let it go, my core. As a result, Fenrir could only helplessly flail and watch as his falling core was beyond his reach. Kaying. I'll kill you. Thus, Fenrir expressed his rage and sent murderous intent towards the leader-looking creature among the tiny ones. Squeeze. Hut %. The leader-looking creature let out a villainous laugh and spoke in an incomprehensible language, then stamped its front paw on something. For Fenrir, who had lived for thousands of years, it was the worst misfortune in a very short period of less than 10 minutes. The unluckiest day in Fenrir's life. Hut, I've got a splendid subordinate, meow. Today I, Vice Chairman Theo, am working hard as always, meow. Of course for Theo, it was the best day. And then, Pio. Theonym, I'm still above this guy, right? Piot looked anxiously at Fenrir. Somehow, it seemed highly probable that a higher-ranking officer had just been added. 99th floor of the tower, in the kitchen. Swoosh, swoosh. Sejun mixed freshly cooked fluffy rice with egg fruit and soy sauce, using both hands to evenly blend the ingredients in a large bowl. And then, press. He shaped the soy sauce egg rice into small rice balls with his hand. Numb, and put it in his mouth. Munch. Haha, delicious. It would have been more surprising if it wasn't delicious. Soy sauce egg rice is a fail-proof dish, as long as the rice isn't weird or the eggs aren't spoiled. Is the soup ready? Sejun checked the egg soup made with fish bone broth. Chop, and added chopped green onions and Xinjiang chili peppers. A moment later. Guys, it's time to eat. Park Sejun called the animals. Kyung. Uk. The animals, who had been waiting behind him for the cooking to be finished, cheered at the dining table. A moment later. Click. Kyungi, is it delicious? Sejun asked Kyungi, who had quickly emptied the bowl full of soy sauce egg rice and was offering the bowl back to him. Kyung. It's delicious. Dad is a genius. In response to Sejun's question, Kyungi, who was eating the soy sauce egg rice, excitedly praised the dish. Doomchit. Gungshil. Kyungi, who was doing the butt dance and shoulder dance that hadn't been seen lately, showed just how delicious it was. Haha, try the egg soup too. It tastes even better that way. Pleased with Kyungi's reaction, Sejun packed the rice bowl full and handed it to Kyungi. Kyung. Got it. Slurp. Feeling a little thirsty, Kyungi gulped down the egg soup. The egg soup Sejun made with Xinjiang chili peppers. The spicy egg soup cleanly washed away the greasiness of the soy sauce egg rice, leaving a slight spiciness that stimulated the appetite once again. At that moment, whap, a mouthful of greasy soy sauce egg rice. And then, slurp, another sip of the spicy egg soup. An invincible combination that could be endlessly consumed. Swoosh. Kyungi's body shone brightly in gold from the tonic effect of the rice. This isn't the time. Seeing the rapidly diminishing soy sauce egg rice and egg soup, Sejun hurriedly ate as well. Vitality. He used a skill to quickly digest the food and eagerly continued eating. You have consumed 100,000 grains of rice. The rice will have a rice as medicine effect. A total of 100 stats in strength, stamina, agility, and magic power will randomly increase. You have gained 23 strength, 9 stamina, 37 agility, and 31 magic power. Thanks to eating about 30 bowls of rice, activating the rice as medicine effect 3 times, strength increased by 53, stamina by 23, agility by 110, and magic power by 114. A 2-for-1 effect of enjoying delicious food and becoming stronger. Kyungi, is this how you feel? Sejun, having finished the rice and now gulping down the egg soup directly from the pot, looked at Kyungi with envy. 75th floor of the tower, Merchant Street. Please give me 10 rainbow trouts. Each rainbow trout is 3 tower coins, is that okay? What, 3 tower coins? Has the price of rainbow trout gone up that much? The merchant who had entered an ingredient store was greatly surprised by the shop owner's words, because the price had tripled since 2 weeks ago. You've been away for a while, haven't you? Seems like you went to some remote place. Yes, I was on a long-distance trade journey. Then it's understandable why you're so surprised. The shop owner showed understanding towards the merchant. Right now, the Red Ribbon Kingdom and the Kingdom of Kav are buying up not just ingredients but all sorts of goods in bulk, so the prices have skyrocketed. What, the Red Ribbon Kingdom and the Kingdom of Kav? Is it a war? The merchant asked with a nervous voice. If a war broke out, the risk of trading would increase. Of course, with that risk, there was a lot to gain from trading, but one only has one life. It was better to earn a little less and be safe. Nope, they're holding a party to celebrate the first anniversary of the Great Black Dragon. I'm not sure what the anniversary is about, but, by the way, can you continue trading with that kind of sense? The shop owner joked with the merchant. However, maybe it's time for me to quit. The merchant, who had taken a big risk on a long-distance trade journey and suffered a great loss, couldn't laugh. The merchant looked downhearted at the shop owner's words. Hey, why is a young friend like you lacking confidence? Cheer up. Instead, I'll give you some good information. Not wanting to lose a customer, the shop owner decided to give the young merchant some information. If you have something that needs appraisal, try visiting the branch of the Wizards Association. They're appraising for free right now. Currently, the Wizards Association was under Iona's instructions, looking for a special item to gift to Sejun. For free? Oh, I do have one thing, maybe I should go check it out. The merchant remembered an item he had obtained on the way back from his trading journey. Yeah, give it a try, who knows, what you have might be a tremendous treasure. Thank you. If it turns out to be a valuable item, I'll come here and sell a lot. Sure, I wish you luck. Thank you. The merchant hurriedly ran to the branch of the Wizards Association. Toddle toddle. Where do you think you're running off to, meow? Keikaing. I am the noble wolf Fenrir. Snap. Theo caught Fenrir by the scruff of his neck as he started walking in a different direction than told. Kaying. You bastards, let me go. Fenrir struggled to escape, but without his core, he didn't have the strength to even move Theo's toe. But what is he saying, meow? Pio? I don't understand either. Theo and Piot couldn't understand what Fenrir was saying. Kaying. What are you two talking about without me? Fenrir felt the same way. The Apostle of Destruction didn't have a language. He just sent and received his intentions directly. However, with the core gone, that ability vanished, and communication failed. Let's head out, meow. Kaying. Theo tied his front paw to Fenrir's with a rope to prevent him from escaping, and went back down the tower. Kaying. How could this humiliation happen to me? This is something dogs do. Fenrir tried to remove the rope tied to his front paw. Whiny, don't remove it, meow. TL, so Fenrir is making a caw-hing-anus sound which resembles a dog's whining or whimpering. I have translated it as kaying, and here, as Theo couldn't understand him, he named him caw-hing-anus, which again just represents the sounds. Therefore, I have decided to translate it as whiny. Eventually, having the rope around his neck only added to the humiliation. Getting the odd name Whiny was a bonus. It seemed Theo's nomming sense was similar to Sejun's. Kaying. I won't go until this is untied. Initially, Fenrir resisted going. Drag. Kaying. Ouch, hot. As he was dragged along, he eventually had to walk because his paws became hot from the dragging. Toddle. Thus, the noble wolf Fenrir trudged on, crushing his pride. But, Kaying. These brats, how can they have so much stamina? Fenrir got tired after just 10 minutes. Kaying. I'm tired. Just leave me. Fenrir gave up the last of his pride as a noble wolf and lay sprawled on the ground in a Chinese letter shape. Drag. It's no use, meow. This guy is as weak as Chairman Park used to be, meow. Unable to speed up because of Fenrir. Snap. Theo carried Fenrir on his back. Kaying. It's so soft and comfortable. Fenrir immediately fell asleep. Gorarung. Unaware that his combat power was now rated below Sejun, officially the weakest on the 99th floor of the Black Tower. Thus, with the sound of Fenrir snoring, Theo reached the 55th floor. Black Rabbit, come to Chairman Park's party, meow. The first one Theo sought out to invite to Sejun's party was Black Rabbit. But, Peepayak. Uncle, isn't that too much? How can you tell me about the party so late? Black Rabbit, feeling slighted, complained to Theo. Meow, what are you talking about? I told you first, meow. Theo was unaware that news of Sejun's first anniversary event had already spread throughout the Black Tower. Peepayak. Really? That's right, meow. Peepayak. Then what's this rumor going around the tower? Pewhut, It's actually good, meow. I was planning to make Chairman Park's party grand anyway, meow. Peepayak, peepayak. Me too. Since it's Uncle's first anniversary in the tower, we should have a party loud enough to shake the Black Tower. Pew hut, great, meow. But where is the leader rabbit, meow? Peepayak, peepayak. Leader rabbit? Oh, you mean Dad. That's right, meow. We have to invite him to Chairman Park's party, meow. Peepayak. Coco, take Theo to Dad. Peepak. Yes. At Black Rabbit's command, the leader of the guards, Coco, who had been hiding, showed himself. Although Black Rabbit and Theo had already seen Coco despite his stealth, revealing himself had no real significance. Day 364 of being stranded, dawn. In Sejun's bedroom. These. Hehe, he's fallen into a deep sleep. Flamey began to move her roots, watching Sejun snore in his sleep. And then, Pottery, Sejunum is sleeping, so now's the time to eat up and grow quickly. Flamey encouraged Pottery to grow by giving it a lot of nutrients. However, Flamionum, with the new member here, can I just fall behind? Pottery, ignoring Flamey's sincerity, spouted nonsense. No, don't worry, I will not let you fall behind. Whoosh. Flamey answered, creating flames with her roots. There's no falling behind, only death as an alternative. No, I'll follow to the end. Pottery absorbed the nutrients given by Flamey with a do-or-die attitude, and boom! With a small earthquake, Pottery grew significantly. Chapter 289. I invite you to Chairman Park's party, meow. Tower floor 55. On the way to visit the rabbit couple, founding members of the cave farm. Kaying. Fenrir, who had been sleeping soundly on Theo's back and even drooling, suddenly started crying out. Why is the little whiny suddenly like this, meow? Theo taken aback. Pio. Well, let's just knock him out for now. That's a good idea, meow. Thump. Theo knocked Fenrir out cold by hitting him on the back of the head. Kaying. These guys, I'm just hungry. Fenrir was forcibly put into a sleep mode. Carrying the unconscious Fenrir, Theo moved on. Pew hut, is the leader rabbit here, meow? Looking at the giant carrot field, Theo asked Coco. Peepak. Yes, the father of the Black Rabbit, the Supreme King, is staying here. Coco answered Theo's question. The father rabbit was here, farming carrots with his wife and other children. Meow, but if the leader rabbit's son is a king, why is he farming, meow? Theo, whose daily life was all about leisure, asked in a voice filled with incomprehension. It's because he said he finds farming more comfortable than living luxuriously in the royal palace, so he moved here. Pew hut, that sounds similar to Chairman Park, meow. Theo said, reminiscing about Sejun, who worked hard every day without a day off. Suddenly, I miss Chairman Park, meow. Then, peep, pewee, pang. The rabbits, having heard Theo's voice, came rushing out to greet him. Indeed, rabbits have excellent hearing. Pew hut, it's nice to see you guys, meow. Theo greeted the rabbits. And then, you guys come to Chairman Park's party, meow. He invited them to Sejun's 1-year survival anniversary party. Peek. Of course we must go. Peep. Kids, pack your things. Scatter. At the rabbit couple's command, the rabbits quickly dispersed to prepare for departure. Now, let's go find the Minotaur King, meow. Peepak. The Minotaur King has heard about the party and went up to the 99th floor of the tower. Coco informed Theo of the Minotaur King's whereabouts following Theo's remark. Do you also know Elka's location, meow? Peepak. Yes, Elkinum is also on his way to the 99th floor of the tower right now. Pew hut, then my errand for Chairman Park is done, meow. Piat, let's go to the 75th floor, meow. Pio. Yes. From now on, Theo planned to do things not assigned by Sejun. All right, Sejun woke up and looked down at his empty spot where his legs were. What? Vice Chairman Theo hasn't returned yet. Sejun spoke with a worried voice. He thought Theo would have returned by dawn at the latest. It's ominous. Vice Chairman Theo, where could that guy be causing trouble? Sejun wasn't worried about Theo, but worried that Theo might be getting into trouble. Suddenly, Sejun kicked off the bed and got up. Swoosh! And marked the 364th day morning on the wall. And then, outside the house, Sejun saw the enormously grown pottery and the ints that were supposed to be in the western forest. Crunch, crunch. The ints were slowly walking around pottery, seemingly protecting it. Why are the ints acting like that? Maybe they think pottery will become the world tree. At Sejun's question, Flamey, who was photosynthesizing outside, cheerfully responded, "Finally, pottery has become useful." However, Flamey, how heartbroken must you feel looking at pottery? Sejun thought Flamey was pretending to be bright on purpose. Flamey was once a candidate for the world tree, but not anymore. It was different now. She must be very envious on the inside. Pad pad. Sejun comforted Flamey by stroking its leaves and, I feel good. Flamey thoroughly enjoyed Sejun's touch. While Sejun was stroking Flamey, whirring, the sound of the poisonous honeybee queen's wings fluttering was heard around. What's that? Looking towards the source of the sound. Whir. Good morning, Sejunum. Rubbing. The poisonous honeybee queen, a founding member of Sejun's cave farm, greeted Sejun by rubbing her body against his face. Good morning. The poisonous honeybee queen had recently been chosen as one of the successors to the poisonous queen bee in the western forest, receiving knowledge from her. Whir. Sejunum, please try this. It's royal jelly I made during today's practice. The poisonous honeybee queen placed a piece of black royal jelly she made herself into Sejun's mouth. Swoosh! The royal jelly, melting in Sejun's mouth like cotton candy, emitted a floral fragrance. Then, Sejun's face stiffened. This is made from honey. Why does it taste bitter? Because he felt an unexpectedly bitter taste on his tongue. Word. It's delicious, isn't it? The poisonous honeybee queen, unaware, was full of anticipation in front of him. He couldn't spit it out on a smiling face. Oh, it's delicious. Sejun forced a smile, lifting the corners of his mouth. And then, you have consumed poorly made royal jelly. All stats increase by 3. You have consumed a bitter medicine. Talent, a medicine that's bitter is good for stamina has been activated. Stamina increases by 3. The messages appeared. My stamina increased by 3. Thanks to that, Sejun could tell that the black royal jelly he ate was quite bitter. Whir. Here's another one. I'll make it tastier next time. Okay. Make sure it's tasty. Sejun swallowed his inner thoughts and accepted the black royal jelly given by the poisonous honeybee queen. Whir. Then I'm going to rest a bit. As the poisonous honeybee queen entered her hive. Crunch, crunch. Sejun hurriedly ate a blue kudzu root to neutralize the bitterness in his mouth. Once the bitterness in his mouth subsided somewhat. Let's go make some food. Flamey, let's go. Yes. Sejun placed Flamey on his shoulder and headed to the cooking area. A little later. Kyung. Dad Kyungi is hungry. Kyungi, who woke up, came into the cooking area, patting his stomach. Just wait a bit, eat this while you wait. Sejun handed Kyungi the black royal jelly. Haha, let's see you handle this. However, swipe. Kyungi used his front paw to block the black royal jelly, as if he instinctively knew it was bitter. Kyung. Dad Kyungi is sensitive because he's hungry, no jokes. Kyungi said, frowning deeply. Why are you joking about food? Sorry, I got it confused. Just wait, I'll make food quickly. Sejun pretended to make a mistake and hurriedly took out another honey jelly for Kyungi. Such an exaggerated act. Kyung. Kyungi felt sad looking at Sejun. Kyungi was too stern. Dad is doing strange things because of Kyungi. Kyungi will help Dad. So feeling sorry, he decided to help Sejun. Kyung. Kyungi will help Dad. Kyungi will put the cutlery. Oh, really? It would be nice if Kyungi helps. Sejun was so focused on Kyungi's sudden offer to help that he overlooked Kyungi's polite speech. Meeting an irresponsible father, the child starts to mature on his own. Tower floor 75. Pew hut, we've arrived, meow. Pio. Theonim, why are we here? Are we doing another draw? Piot asked Theo. No, meow. We're here to distribute invitations to Chairman Park's party, meow. Pio. Party invitations, did we have such a thing? Pew hut, we're going to make them now, meow. Theo responded and entered the general store. Give me 1,000 sheets of paper, meow. Theo bought 1,000 sheets of palm-sized paper from the general store owner. 1,000 sheets of paper will be 1 tower coin. For Theo, 1 tower coin was almost like 10 won. Give me a discount, meow. Theo bargained 3 times. Chairman Park said you must bargain 3 times when buying something, meow. Theo, who never forgot and always abided by Sejun's teachings. All right, then I'll give it to you for 0.7 tower coins. Thanks to that, he was able to purchase it for 0.3 tower coins cheaper. Having bought the paper, Theo sat down on the steps of the general store and started stamping his paw print on the paper. Pio. Theonim, is that the invitation? Pew hut, that's right, meow. Piot, pass these over, meow. Pio. Yes. By having Piot pass over the stamped papers, the work was divided, and the invitations were completed more quickly. A little later. Pew hut, the invitations are complete, meow. Theo completed 1,000 invitations and proudly walked to the center of the shopping district. Pew hut, this place looks good, meow. Theo settled in the center of the street. Snap. I invite you to Chairman Park's party, meow. Theo handed out invitations to passing pedestrians like flyers. However, swoosh, they avoided the invitations from Theo and just passed by. Snap. Swoosh. What, meow? Why won't they accept Chairman Park's party invitations, meow? When Theo was about to despair after dozens of attempts, with no one accepting the invitations. What are you doing here, Theonim? Mimmer, the legendary merchant who had finished trading and was exploring the shopping district, found Theo. Mimmer, long time no see, meow. I am distributing invitations for Chairman Park's 1-year survival anniversary party. Are you selling them? Meow, yes, meow. Caught off guard by Mimmer's enthusiastic reaction, Theo quickly changed his response from, I was just handing them out, meow, to agree with her. Really, Theonim, I want to buy an invitation, how much? Mimmer exclaimed with excitement at Theo's response. To attend a party hosted by the Great Black Dragon, it would be an honor for generations. Pew hut, it's 1 billion tower coins per invitation, meow. Yes, I'll buy 10. Mimmer happily paid 10 billion tower coins and took 10 invitations. The invitations that were just being handed out for free a moment ago. Suddenly, their value skyrocketed to 1 billion tower coins each. And then, what's the legendary merchant Mimmer buying? What is she buying? The entities around started to show interest and gather one by one. What's that? Let's go see. This attracted the attention of passing pedestrians again. What's going on? They're selling party invitations. I just heard that the legendary merchant Mimmer bought 10 invitations to the Great Black Dragon's first anniversary party for 10 billion tower coins. Really? The rumor that one needed an invitation to attend the Great Black Dragon's first anniversary party spread quickly. Tower floor 99, Western Forest. Kyung. Hehe, it's something good for Dad. Swoosh. while Kyungi was tending to the herbs in the kudzu field, searching for herbs to give to Sejun. Flab flab. Brother Kyungi, there's big trouble. The golden bat hurriedly flew to Kyungi. Kyung. What's the matter? Is Dad in danger? Kyungi quickly got up. No, Sejunum is having a party in 2 days. The golden bat answered after overhearing the conversation of the black minotaurs, who had arrived on the 99th floor. Kyung. What party? It's a party to celebrate Sejunum's 1-year survival anniversary. Sejun, planning to keep it simple, had not yet mentioned it to the two. However, Kyung. Then it's a very important party. Kyungi must prepare a gift for Dad. To Kyungi, Sejun's 1-year survival anniversary wasn't an event to be taken lightly. It was a tremendous miracle that their incredibly weak dad survived a whole year. What will you prepare? Kyung. Kyungi has something in mind. Follow me. Dedada. Kyungi started to run, speaking out. There was a herb he had noticed before but hadn't harvested because it was on a different floor. Kyungi, who until now had not descended the tower, unless he was searching for Sejun or with Sejun. For the first time, Kyungi went down the tower even though Sejun was on the 99th floor. Chapter 290. For Dad's longevity and health, I'll come again next time. In front of the Black Tower in Hanamdong, where Sejun's family lives. Kimchi. We've confirmed 500 containers, each adjusted to 1 kg. Side dishes. We've prepared 10 types of side dishes that Sejunum usually enjoys, such as stir-fried anchovies, sausage and vegetable stir-fry, and soy sauce marinated eggs, each weighing 1 kg for a total of 500 containers. Good. Lastly, the recipes. We've recorded all of Kim Myranam's kimchi stew, and side dish recipes. The employees of the Korean Awakeners Association answered Kim Dong-sik's questions. And then, Master, we're all set. Kim Dong-sik made the final report to Han Tae-jun. Great, then let's move to the tower. Yes. Following Han Tae-jun's command, 1,000 members of the Earth Defense Force entered the Black Tower, each carrying a container of kimchi and side dishes. Let's go. Yes. Han Tae-jun and Kim Dong-sik, each holding a recipe book, were the last to enter the Black Tower. On the 75th floor of the tower. Flap. Pio. Please line up properly. Piot, busily flying around, shouted at the approximately 300 people queued up to buy invitations. The price of one party invitation was 1 billion tower coins, and those in line were mostly powerhouses, influential figures, or wealthy individuals. But I am Theonim's next right front paw. I'm not scared. Piot controlled them without being intimidated. I'll work hard and earn Theonim's recognition. With the thought of receiving praise from Theo, Piot diligently surveyed the surroundings. Those in line also did not want to cause a commotion and fall out of favor with Theo, so they voluntarily followed Piot's control. However, not everyone was like that. Snap. Hey, long time no see. A hyena beastman casually put his arm around the shoulder of the merchant in front. Huss who? Before the clueless merchant could ask who it was. Crack. He. My dad is the boss of the 88th floor of the tower, Karaja. How about we swap places? Pressing down hard on the merchant's shoulder with his strength and status. Whoosh. He naturally took the spot by pulling the other person behind. It was cutting in line. And then, Pio. No cutting in line, please line up properly. Of course, Piot, who was watching like a hawk, caught him immediately. However, what? Why are you treating customers like this? Harzar, the son of the 88th floor boss Karaja, objected to Piot's attitude despite having cut in line. Usually, most would have bowed their heads and complied, but Pio. You're not the only customer here. Everyone else is a customer too, so please line up properly. Piot was not a softie. Eek, if it were the 88th floor, you wouldn't even be a mouthful. Harzar, who had always lived as he pleased on the 88th floor relying on his father's power, was very annoyed by the current situation. Still, since this wasn't his territory on the 88th floor, Harzar was trying his best not to resort to violence. Eek, how old are you? Pio? I'm old enough for my age. So how old are you? Pio? I've lived for 47 days. What? Your blood hasn't even dried on your back yet. TL, it's a Korean saying. I don't know if it's an idiom or not, which means someone is too inexperienced. Crack. Losing his temper at Piot's response. Crunch. Harzar grew in size, transforming into his combat form. Grrrr, I'll kill you. Harzar, now 3 meters tall, opened his mouth wide to pounce on Piot. Frozen by the murderous attack, Piot was about to be torn to shreds by Harzar's sharp teeth when... Shield. Bang. A blue, opaque wall appeared in front of Piot, blocking Harzar's attack. Grrrr, who is it? Harzar looked for the one who blocked him. And then... Kaiwo, are you okay, Piot? Pio. Yes, thank you. Harzar's eyes caught sight of a pure white hamster talking to Piot. Although he had heard about Yona. Who is that? Harzar couldn't recall. But it's the second stage of rage. Run away quickly. Ah, but Theonim is here, isn't he? Right, we need to tell Theonim quickly. Those who knew Yona's identity hurriedly called for Theo. Yona, have you come, meow? Dedada. Hearing that Yona had arrived, Theo rushed over. Kaiwat, Theo. Upon seeing Theo, Yona's anger melted away like snow. Swoosh. Poof. Yona quickly flew to Theo and buried herself in his tail. Yona, but why were you angry, meow? Kaiwat. How dare that guy try to kill Piot, Theo's next right front paw? Piot, you say, meow. Hearing Yona's words, Theo looked at Harzar. What? Harzar belatedly realized that the atmosphere was turning strange, but it was too late. Stamp here, meow. Theo handed a contract to Harzar. The contract stated that Harzar would work as a slave until he repaid 10 billion tower coins for Piot's life. 10 billion tower coins. That's ridiculous. How could that bird's life be so expensive? Harzar denied the content of the contract. But, Hut, no, meow, Piot's life is very expensive, meow, because it is my Vice Chairman Theo's next right front paw, meow, so quickly stamp it with your paw, meow. That settled it for Theo. Thanks to this, rumors about Piot, the subordinate of the Golden Cat Theoparch, began to spread. Furthermore, those who recognized the badge of the Kov Kingdom diplomat on Piot's chest spread rumors that the Kov Kingdom, along with the Red Ribbon Kingdom, had received the dragon's protection. However, that wasn't what mattered to Piot. Pio. Slave, quickly stamp it. Peg. Piot, who had become arrogant after seeing the contract, pecked at Harzar's head, urging him. You're the official subordinate number 1 of Pururur Yatra. Press. Thus, Harzar, having improperly vented his temper, became the official subordinate number 1 of Piot. 99th floor of the tower. Tog. You have obtained corn seeds. Your job experience has slightly increased. Your proficiency of seed harvesting LV 8 has slightly increased. You need to use the seed harvesting skill 910,023 more times to complete the job quest. While Sejun was busily detaching corn kernel to complete his job quest. Thump. From afar, the Minotaur King and the Black Minotaurs visited Sejun's farm. Minotaur King, you're early. Sejun, thinking they had come at Theo's invitation, spoke to the Minotaur King. Moo. It seems you would be busy preparing for the party, so we came to help. Preparation. Then, could you go to the 98th floor and bring back a few melons? Moo. Yes, let's go, guys. Thump. Following Sejun's words, The Minotaur King led all the black Minotaurs down. Why all of them, why? Sejun, unaware of the spread of the party news in the Black Tower, puzzledly watched the Minotaur King leading all the black Minotaurs away. The modest party Sejun imagined versus the grand party the Minotaur King envisioned. The quantity of a few they thought of was vastly different. I'm a bit hungry. Numb. Watching the departing black Minotaurs, Sejun ate the meat given by Aileen. You have consumed Aileen's healthier meatball piece. You must eat all the pieces to experience its effects. 455 pieces remaining. The message came with a feeling of fullness. It was convenient for filling the stomach when he was too lazy to prepare a meal. Thus, having filled his stomach, Tog. Sejun lost track of time while harvesting seeds. It's already evening, why hasn't Kyungi come? Toryong. Sejun rode Toryong to the western forest, looking for Kyungi, who hadn't returned even after dinner time had passed. However, Kyungi, where are you? Despite calling for Kyungi, he was nowhere to be found upon Sejun's arrival in the western forest. Where did Kyungi go? Aileen, could you please find Kyungi? So Sejun asked Aileen for help. The tower's administrator says Kyungi is on the 88th floor. The 88th floor? Why would Kyungi be there? Sejun found out that Kyungi was on the 88th floor. 88th floor of the tower. Brother Kyungi, are you sure there are herbs here? The golden bat, flying around and looking at the surroundings, asked Kyungi. The area was a wasteland with only gray rocks in sight. No plants were visible. Kyung. Yes, just trust me. Bang. Kyungi, who was flying alongside, answered confidently and increased his speed. Flap. Let's go together. The golden bat flapped its wings hard, following Kyungi. After a while, Kyung. Here it is, he said, looking at a huge red rock sitting alone in the middle of the wasteland. The golden bat tilted its head at Kyungi's words. Then, bang, Kyungi threw a rock at the red rock with telekinesis. Screech. A bud, disguised as a rock, bloomed open, screaming in a way that disoriented its prey's sense of balance. And wriggle. Hundreds of tentacles inside the bud stirred in the air, trying to ensnare its prey. Thinking the rock thrown by Kyungi was prey, it attempted to devour it. At the same time, the name appeared above the monster. Red Rock Corpse Flower. A monster capable of hiding its name through camouflage. Kyung. It's coming up. Kyungi, having identified the target, levitated the body of the Red Rock Corpse Flower into the sky with telekinesis. Then, rumble. The ground vibrated, and the roots of the Red Rock Corpse Flower began to be pulled out. Screech. The Red Rock Corpse Flower, panicking and continuously screaming as its roots were pulled out. Once its roots were completely extracted, crack, Kyungi stretched his paws in the air, grabbing tightly. Crunch, and the juicing of the Red Rock Corpse Flower's roots began. Kyung. Not a single drop should be wasted. Yes. The golden bat diligently caught the juice of the Red Rock Corpse Flower in a glass bottle below. After a while, thump, the Red Rock Corpse Flower, squeezed by Kyungi, was planted back into the ground. Kyung. For Dad's longevity and health, I'll come again next time. Golden bat, off we go. Kyungi said his farewells to the Red Rock Corpse Flower, promising to return next time, and flew towards the 99th floor. Screech. The Red Rock Corpse Flower hurriedly fled elsewhere, while Theo was turning Harzar into Piat's subordinate. Gorarong. Kaying. I'm hungry. Fenrir, who had been sleeping on top of Theo's bundle, woke up due to hunger. Kaying. They're not around. Fenrir looked around and, realizing that Theo and Piat were nowhere to be seen, took a step to run away when Gurr. His stomach loudly grumbled. Kaying. I'm so hungry. Those evil bastards didn't even feed me. It was quite a blow to the dignity of Fenrir, the god-devouring wolf and the first seat among the apostles of destruction. Sniff, sniff. Kaying. There's a delicious smell coming from over there. Fenrir hurriedly followed the scent. Thump, thump. But this place was too crowded for Fenrir to navigate. Kaying, kaying. He was bumped and jostled by the feet of passers-by dozens of times. Kaying. Almost there. Gulp. Finally, following the scent, Fenrir saw an item in a merchant's hand and swallowed his drool. And, kaying. I'll eat it well. Bam. He jumped towards the item held by the merchant. However, bam, bam. No matter how much he jumped, his body wouldn't leave the ground. Kaying, kaying. I'm too tired now. Is it just not going to fall? Exhausted, Fenrir lay down on the ground, hoping the merchant's item would just drop when. Oh, it's a puppy. The merchant lowered his posture, seeing Fenrir sprawled out beneath his feet, exposing his belly. This is it. This is what it means to submit to me. Fenrir pushed his belly out even more. And, shug, as the merchant sat down completely. Suddenly, Fenrir grabbed the item from the merchant's hand in his mouth and dashed off.